Aloha! Sorry if I sound a bit weird. I am a little sick because my body just hates me, and being sick seems to be all the rage right now. But we are going to continue off with 14 days with you, and we are... I think the ending I'm going to go with for the first go through from day one is that we're going to do the first ending where English was not my first language apparently, where I didn't invite him over because I feel like that's the most me thing that I can do. And I think that's the only ending I did where I didn't invite him over. Oops, didn't mean to go all the way back. Yeah, because I didn't invite him over there. I invited him over there. And yeah, so we're going to go at the end of this one. Yep, already saved. Let's go, day 2. La la la. Waking up to the sounds of birds chirping outside and the sunlight filtering through my blinds, I groggily rubbed my eyes before absent-mindedly staring at the ceiling for a few moments. A lot had occurred last night, and I still needed to process most of it. But the main thing that plagued my mind was the date I had planned today with Ren, the guy I had met at the library yesterday. Reaching over my nightstand to grab my phone, I casually checked the time, only to realize that I still had a few more hours to kill. Not only that, but I also apparently received a text message from Moth at some point last night. At a glance, it appeared as though they were just ranting about the newest update for Always With You again, though I hadn't read the latest chapter yet to know all the details. Nevertheless, I read through their wall of text and memes with avid curiosity and even sent back a few of my own. Before I knew it, hours seemed to pass by in a blur. Glancing back at the time on my phone once more, I noticed that it went from being 8 o'clock to 10:30. Oh. Whoopsies. 10:30? My date with Ren was supposed to be in half an hour. I quickly let Moth know that I had to dip from the conversation before throwing my phone onto the mattress and sprinting towards the bathroom. But just as I grab a fresh towel and a change of clothes from my wardrobe, my phone buzzes once more. Assuming it was yet another text from Moth, I pick it up and put in my passcode. But what awaited me was a message from none other than Ren. Hi. Good morning, Angel. I hope I didn't wake you up. Wake. Anyways, I just wanted to confirm whether or not you're still on for our date today. Because we can meet up at the beach walk if you are. It's not far from this new cafe I want to check out. Ren's messages brought a smile to my face for some reason, and I assumed it was because he seemed just as enthusiastic as I was for today. I sent back my own affirmative text alongside a smiling Haruko sticker before going back to the bathroom and getting ready for the day. I love this music. It's just so chill. It reminds me of the, okay, so when in middle school days, I played like a lot of dating sims. Like a lot. Specifically these games from the Shall We Date series. And it just reminds me of that vibe. In the end, I did end up meeting Ren halfway via the boardwalk, and we decided to walk to this recently opened cafe together for lunch. It wasn't far from my apartment anyway, and I figured I could do with a bit of exercise. Turning to my side, I notice that a pink-haired man tries to not so subtly sneak side glances towards me. The arm at his side practically itches to reach out, and if I knew any better, I would have assumed he wanted to hold my hand. But instead, he simply tucks his hands into his pocket and shoots me yet another soft smile. And the weather's really nice today, huh? Back to small talk, it seems. Sure is. If I had known it'd be this nice and sunny, I would have suggested spending the day at the beach instead. I just realized I didn't check my volume. Bah! That's a screen capture. La 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 la. I'm assuming you guys can hear me. Sure is. If I had no... Oh, yeah, I read that. Yeah? Yeah, we could go for a swim. Or maybe even check out the rock pools. It's been a while since I've been there. Oh, that does sound fun. Althemia! Hey, Leon. At the sound of my name being called, I turned on my heels only to find Leon running up to me with a sports bag full of what I assumed to be his volleyball gear. Heyo, Sunfish! It's good to see you out and about this early. I was just on my way to the beach to meet up with Jaeyoon and Teo. Want to tag along? And hey, who's this? I don't think we met before, mate. The name's Leon, Althemia's bestest friend in the whole wide world. Right? I mean, yeah. I playfully roll my eyes at Leon's words and give him a slow, reluctant nod. Keep telling yourself that, but this is my friend Ren. We actually met... Sunfish? Huh? Oh, yeah. Sunfish is the cheesy nickname Leon gave me when we were kids. I don't really get it either, to be honest. So, Sunfish and Ren, was it? Nice to meet you. I hope we can get along and become good friends, too. Actually, hey, if you're both free right now, why don't we go down to the beach? I can introduce you to Jay and... Angelfish and I were about to go on a date, actually. Angelfish? A date? I don't miss the way Ren suddenly pulls my arm closer to his side, nor the way he clings on to me as though I'd suddenly disappear. You're going on dates again, Darl? Good for you. I'm glad to see that you're coming out of your shell again. Take good care of her for me, won't you, bud? What do you think I've been doing ever since you moved away? Oh, what? Huh? Like me, Leon barely seems to notice Ren's mumbling as he rests an arm over my shoulder and starts tugging me in the direction of the beach. Ren, on the other hand, still latches onto my arm, but doesn't seem to move. I can't believe my little Sunfish is out there in a dating scene again. I feel like a proud father. Oh, please, we're basically the same age. I feel like a proud adoptive father. Leon pretends to wipe a tear away from his eyes as he leans further into my shoulder, and it was only then that I noticed Ren wasn't following us. Turning around, I reach out to grab his hand instead to tug him along. He immediately seems to perk up at the action and entwines his fingers with mine before falling into step. Alright, as fun as it is to catch up with my proud adoptive father, who's the same age as me, which makes things kind of weird. Ren and I do need to get going. Yeah, of course, I didn't mean to take up so much of your time. He unhooks his arm from around my shoulder and inclines his head towards the beach one more time. But my offer still stands. If you want to catch up sometime, I'll be down at the beach with... Oi, Teo! His tattoos! Wait! They look tribal. I can't tell though. I gotta... Speak of the devil. They look tribal and they look Hawaiian. Like at first glance, they look tribal and they look Hawaiian. So naturally my interest is perked. But I can't tell. The snake is slightly throwing me off. I need a better look. Speak of the devil, much like Jay, Theodore was another friend I made in university. But if I was being honest here, I don't think he was actually enrolled in anything. He just showed up every so often to keep his attendance rate up and to antagonize some of the students and staff. As if reading my mind, Teo practically runs into Ren with the sole purpose of sending him tumbling into the metal railing behind him. But luckily, Ren manages to catch his footing at the last second, sending Teo an annoyed scowl of his own. Ah, shit. Sorry about that. I'm not sure how I missed such a brightly colored children's mascot. Oh no, this isn't gonna end well. Alright, there's no need for that here. Despite Leon's tone, Teo barely pays the shorter male any mind, seemingly far more interested in Ren instead. Let me guess, you're dressed up as a bunny as Bunny the Buttercup. My 4-year-old cousin would love you. Teo, shut up. Oh, he's fightable. Yeah. Just a bit. Oh, wait. Knock it off, mate. What's your problem? Dunno. What's yours? Oh, no. This ain't gonna end well. I could practically feel the tension between the two grow, so I decided to step in. Maybe you should introduce each other first before you try glaring each other to death. Teo, this is Ren. He's my, well, I'm her boyfriend, huh? Boyfriend? We haven't even started this date, my guy. Well, that was certainly one way to put it, especially without discussing it with me beforehand and asking for my input. At his words, I shoot Ren a confused glance, but the determined look on his face had me biting back my words. Yeah. I mean, whatever floats your boat, Ren, I guess. Okay then? Anyways, this is Teo. He's... How will you respond? I've never seen this man before in my life. He's a friend from university. I'm gonna save, because I actually want to see what the other choices here do. Fuck, I'm running out of saves. Wah. Okay, I'm gonna go with he's a friend for university, and then when we go back to this day, we'll choose the other ones to see, because I'm curious. He's a friend. Aw, you consider us friends? That's real cute, doll. Are we not friends? You always used to show up at some of my classes at university. Which was weird, because I'm pretty sure we studied different things. Maybe I just wanted to see you. Oh, how uncharacteristically thoughtful of him. Or see what you were wearing underneath. Can we go now? I want to go to the cafe now. Never fucking mind. Okay, enough. Look, why don't we just drop the issue? You really need to stop trying to pick fights with everyone, mate. Aw, don't get your panties in a twist. I seriously doubt Buttercup's capable of harming a fly, let alone able to throw a decent punch. Teo! You can drop the nickname. Nah, but I think Dollface over here should drop you. I'm not a prize, sir. What? You can go. Go. Just go. Go that way. The beach is that way. I want to go to the cafe. Let's go. No. No. The fuck? Besides, the nickname is kind of cute. Matches your style pretty well, don't you think, Buttercup? Stop it! I can see Ren's hand clench into a fist as he advances towards Teo, but thankfully, Leon steps in once more. Seriously, why don't we all cool off, yeah? I think we're getting a bit too heated. Look, we're gonna head down to the beach. I don't miss the way Leon sends Teo a sharp glare. Are you sure you don't want to join us, Althemia? I promise to make sure that Teo stays on his best behavior. Sorry, Leo. I've already made plans with Ren. And I seriously doubt they'll be able to get along. You know how Teo can get. Yeah, you got a point there. Well, alright then. He leans closer to me, almost as if he didn't want the other two eavesdropping. If anything happens, I'll be in the area. Just come find me, okay? I will. Thanks, Leon. I give his arm a soft squeeze and turn my attention back to Ren. But by the way he looks at us, I can only assume that he didn't like how close I was standing to my childhood friend. Your ego is getting too big for them boots, bud. It's why we can only stay friends. Mood, Lila. Can I throat punch Teo? Go for it. Oh, he has tattoos on his finger! Sorry. my fascination with tattoos. Though that could have also been Teo, because Teo was still around, and honestly, I couldn't blame him. Regardless, I reach for his hand once more and tug him towards the cafe, making a point of ignoring Teo's crass words as we went along. I barely notice how Ren's mood immediately changes when my attention is back on him, and he follows along like a lost puppy. Jeez. Yeah, the tattoos compensate, but my god, I just want to rip him off him. Shit, he got a mouth on him. We eventually arrive at the Driftwood Cafe, and the small Teo! I'm blaming you for everything. And the smell of fresh pastries and brewed coffee flood my senses as it wafts through the open windows. And just as I had thought, the cafe looked as though it had only recently opened, though it didn't seem as busy or crowded as I anticipated. Pulling me from my thoughts, Ren ushers me into one of the empty tables before he goes off to make an order with a pleased look on his face. It was a bit strange how he didn't want me to look at the menu first, but I chalked it up to him wanting to surprise me. He's barely gone for 5 minutes before he returns once more, taking a seat in front of me with a huff. A comfortable silence washes over us, and I watch as he absent-mindedly fiddles with the ends of his hair. Was he still concerned about what Teo said about his appearance earlier? Maybe it'd be a good idea to take his mind off of it. Hey, Ren. Almost immediately, he perks up with wide eyes. How do you manage to keep your hair so fluffy? It looks so good. Ren seems to flush instantly at my words, and he sheepishly ducks his head lower to hide his reddening cheeks. You like it? I usually just angle a blow dryer below my chin and blast the heat, and it just stays like that afterwards. Oh, so you don't need to use any products or anything? Not really. Just when I thought he got over his timid personality, it slowly came crawling back. Was this really who he was? Ren must have taken my silence as a lack of response, seeing as he tries striking up another conversation. So, work's going good for you, huh? Finally got that promotion? Ah, yeah, I did. I was honestly surprised when I first got my promotion, considering how I've only moved back here recently. But Eleanor's been really helpful by showing me the ropes, and... Wait, how did you know I got promoted? Oh, your coworker told me about it yesterday after you left. Eleanor, right? She seemed really proud of you. Anyways, what were you saying about her showing you the ropes? I barely noticed how he managed to change the conversation back to me, as I recounted all the times Eleanor helped me through my first week of working at the library. It eventually reached a point where it felt like I had been talking for hours, and it wasn't until something caught my eye did I finally stop. How will you respond? Puppy, goth style, something to their hair. Sorry, what were you saying? I wanna go with the puppy. Ren glances out the window and follows my line of sight, where a small Pomeranian sat, idling, chewing the laces of its owner's shoes. Yeah, that is a pretty dog, but I think you're cuter. Nothing could compare to you. Order 25! Oh, that's us. Wait right here. I'll be right back. Thankfully. Things have calmed down now, thanks to fuck. And I hope we don't run into Teo again. I really hope we don't run into Teo again. Before I could get a word in, Ren was jumping out of his seat and meandering his way towards the kiosk. It really was a sight to behold, seeing Ren tower over most of the other customers who were waiting in line. Even the cashier herself, who seemed to be at least 6 feet tall, had to crane her neck upwards just to look at him. He's cute, but not my type of cute. He's like a little lost puppy. I just want to pet his head. But before I could blink twice, Ren was already on his way back with a large tray full of delicious food. He seats himself back in his original spot with a pleased smile and begins to lay out the dishes in front of me. Oh, this is... However you respond. I get to choose? I want a chocolate croissant. A croissant with chocolate filling sits next to my fucking potato, making me stutter. A croissant with chocolate filling sits next to my beverage, and I almost heard my stomach rumble at the sight. Hang on one sec. Lila got a funny screenshot of me. How did Ren know that this was my favorite thing to order? Granted, it wasn't like I've been to the Driftwood Cafe before, but this was usually what I'd order at any cafe. It was honestly like he could read my mind. And what was even more mind-boggling was that he didn't even need to look at the menu beforehand. It was like he just knew. Don't forget your drink. Ren shoots me another gentle smile of his before placing my drink before me. No way. The drink he placed in front of me, it was... Smoothie. The inviting aroma of fruit floods my senses, and that alone was what assured me that Ren ordered my favorite smoothie. Just like the ones I usually bring on my way to work sometimes. I hope this is okay. Unfortunately, this cafe doesn't really have much to offer, judging from the menu I saw online. Ah, so that's how he knew what to order. I even tried asking for napkins earlier, but I don't think they heard me. Maybe I should try again. I almost felt bad for him, but I also felt grateful for ordering me something that I'd normally eat at a cafe. I make sure everything is on the table before putting the tray aside, and it was then when I noticed what he'd ordered himself. On his plate sat a strawberry sweet roll alongside a cup of coffee that was an alarming shade of black. Oh, he likes it black. He likes it dark. Dark like my soul. He seems to pick up the inquisitive stare if the innocent tilt of his head was anything to go by. Do you want my meal instead? We can swap if you want. I don't mind. This was supposed to be a date, right? Deciding to tease him a little, I shoot Ren a sly grin. That's okay, but you could offer me a bite instead. Ren almost seemed... Oh, I didn't get to read it. I clicked the button. What does this do? Ah, there we go. Ren almost seems to combust on the spot as his cheeks turn red and he almost chokes on his own spit. Whoopsie. He looks down at his food before glancing back at me, only to look down once more to scoop up a bite-sized piece of his food. I watch as Ren's cheeks turn a deep shade of red while he brings his fork closer to me, and not wanting to be seen as a coward, I lean in to take a bite. His eyes widen almost immediately, and he seems hyper-focused on the way my mouth wraps around the fork before I lick my lips and let out a pleased hum. It's yummy. Try some. The pink-haired man seems to have an awkwardly long staring contest with his own fork before scooping up yet another small piece and taking a bite. Ren's cheeks are still scarlet red, and he seems almost fidgety with how his legs keep bouncing under the table, so I decided to take pity on him and not tease him for it. With a knowing smile, I start digging into my own meal with a pleased hum. Eventually, we ended up finishing our meals and decided to do a bit of window shopping to pass the time. I had nothing else to do today, and Ren seemed insistent on spending the rest of his time with me, so I agreed. We passed by a few clothing stores, ice cream stands, surfboard rentals, and many other interesting buildings, though nothing really caught my eye. But just as I thought I'd lost all hope, one store in particular catches my eye. In one of the display windows, I spotted this cute little rabbit plushie in the style of Haruko's likeness. I mean, it even came with his limited edition sorcerer outfit and everything. I couldn't believe they were selling these things here, of all places, and at such a cheap price too. Right, that's a person! Ren seems to notice what I was not so subtly gawking at, but before we could enter the store, the cashier walks in front of the display stand and blocks our view. She drops a box of miscellaneous items at her feet and begins stalking a shelf next to the plushies before she finally notices us standing by the window. I don't miss the way her eyes widen at Ren, obviously taking an immediate liking to him, and almost shamelessly pushes a strand of her hair behind her ears before giving him a small wave. Sneaking a glance at the taller man beside me, I noticed how Ren wasn't even paying her any attention, instead keeping himself busy by scratching at his jaw and kicking at the stray cobblestone rocks by his feet. But the cashier seemed adamant about getting Ren's attention, considering how she felt the need to abandon her spot by the shelves and make her way towards us. Lady, do you not see me? Lady! Lady! What the fuck? Hi there, welcome to Seaside Trinkets. My name is Olivia. Can I help you with anything? Oh, no, we're just looking around, but thanks for... We've recently got some new beachwear merch if you're interested in checking them out. Oh, she's ignoring me. Oh, this bitch. Oh, you kind of look like someone I know. Have you met before? Maybe we went to the same school. Me? I don't think so. Really? I definitely would have remembered a face like yours. Actually, now that I've got a good look at you, I watch as she's shamelessly taken Ren's appearance before crossing her arms over her chest and leaning back. You also remind me of one of those characters from a cartoon that's been gaining a ton of traction here. Apparently one of the locations for that show is based in Corland Bay's main beach. Are you talking about Attack on Giants? Is that the name of it? Then yeah. I don't really know much about those cartoons, but our company recently started selling some stuff for it to entice the tourists. Lady! Do you want to come inside and take a look? Ren doesn't seem to answer her question and instead casts an inquisitive glance in my direction. It was like he was asking me for my opinion, and I can only assume it was because he knew about my interest in anime. It was thoughtful of him to do that, but I've kind of wanted him to tell that rude worker off instead. Wait, did I really want him to do that? What was wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. This lady's just... yeah. I'm sure that the cashier just took an interest in him, and there was nothing wrong with that. It's not like we were a couple anyway, but we were supposed to be on a date right now. And did Ren declare himself as my boyfriend earlier? But I just assume he said that in order to get Teo off my back. Does that mean... was he feeling the same way as me? Was jealousy on his mind when we talked with Leon and Teo earlier? I wasn't sure how I felt about this new discovery. Althemia? Huh? Do you want to go and look at the items? We still got a bit of time to kill. Here, why don't I show you the most recent stock? Will you back up? We haven't shown this to the general public yet, but I'm sure you'll love it. Without warning, Olivia, was that her name, reaches out for Ren's arm and practically drags him inside the store. He lets out a surprised sound before leaning back and trying to grab hold of my own arm as well, but I was just out of his reach. There was nothing else I could do but watch as Ren helplessly gets pulled into the store. Lady! It's back here in the stock rooms. Usually we don't allow customers downstairs, but you're a real hottie, so I'll let you... Am I John Blooper? No, actually, I'm good. Don't worry, we won't get caught. I'm sure your girlfriend won't mind if I borrow you for a bit. So you do know I'm fucking here. The wink she sends him would have made anyone feel uncomfortable, and had Ren turned around, I would have seen the pissed off look on his face. But instead, he leans in close to her face and whispers in a hushed tone that I could barely hear from my spot outside the store. If she wasn't standing there right now, I would have shoved... Oh. If she wasn't standing there right now, I would have shoved your desperate ass down the staircase without a second thought. And right now, it's really fucking tempting. Okay, Ren, let's not commit murder, Ren. But what? From their current position, it looked as though they were having a really intimate conversation, and I felt a sudden urge to look away. Why was I getting so bothered over this? I know we weren't exactly together, but Ren shouldn't be off flirting with other people while on a date with someone else. I would never want to be in a relationship with someone who wasn't considerate of my feelings. And up until now, I honestly thought Ren would have had a chance. I guess I was wrong. But still, there's this nagging voice at the back of my head that thank you for the prime. Man, English, not my first language. Thank you for the prime sub, Ghosty. There's this nagging voice at the back of my head that kept telling me not to give up on him so easily. And Ren was the one who confidently stood his ground when Teo got a bit suggestive, so maybe I should do the same. Would he even mind? Before I could stop myself, my feet start to move on autopilot as I march towards the two of them and reach out for Ren's sleeve. I give it a hesitant tug, and I swear I can almost feel the relief wash over his body because of it. Love you too, fam. Ren's entire demeanor seems to change in that moment, and he turns to me with a relieved smile on his soft features. I don't really have any interest in the store. Can we go somewhere else? Yeah, of course. Finally. Wait, hold on. Ren carelessly shoves Olivia's outstretched hand aside and gently places an arm over my shoulder instead. And just like that, he's already guided me out of the store and back onto the busy street. I can hear Olivia sputter out confused sounds as she watches the two of us leave, and I suddenly feel guilty for causing a rift between them. Jeez! First Teo, then this chick. No matter how many times I tried to brush it aside, I still couldn't get my mind off of what had just occurred earlier. What if Ren was interested in her? Granted, he probably shouldn't have blatantly flirted with her while on a date with me, but he wasn't exactly the most confident guy. Would he still be able to talk to her again if things didn't work out between us? No, I shouldn't be thinking like that. Peering up to Gosh's expression, I noticed how he didn't really look all that upset about leaving her. If anything, he seemed rather content to be walking down the street with his fingers entwined with mine once more. I can feel him give my hand a protective squeeze as he looks down at me with his soft blue eyes, and all of my worries somehow melt away. Between them or her attempting to warn us, I don't know. Maybe I did make the right choice after all. It might have been selfish, but it was worth having Ren look at me with such a gentle expression. Eventually, the sun starts to set behind the ocean as Ren and I continue to walk along the beach walk. Most of the conversation was geared towards me and my interests again, but every time I tried to learn more about Ren, he only seemed to divert the conversation back to me once more. But the more I focused on his odd behavior, the more I began to pick up on his social habits as well. I learned that Ren would suddenly pick at the sleeves of his cardigan whenever he got nervous, or how he'd scratch at his jaw whenever the conversation strayed down a path he didn't feel comfortable with. His little quirks told me more about himself than the dead-end conversations that only led back to me, and I was more content with knowing more about him than I did yesterday. Ren no longer felt like a stranger I had met at the library, but rather someone I could consider a friend. Except, friends aren't supposed to get jealous whenever they see them flirt with someone else. Jeez, what was wrong with me? It had barely been 2 days and I was already contemplating whether or not I truly saw Ren in a romantic light. Was that going too fast? Well, these thoughts were starting to get a bit overwhelming. And... Angel, hello? Huh? You're spacing out on me again. There's that look again. He keeps peering down at me with such adoration in his eyes, and if I didn't know any better, I would think that he was already halfway in love with me. But that was a very conceited thought and probably wasn't even true. Angel would be a cute nickname if it wasn't a yandere. I mean, I'm no angel. It keeps reminding me of Poppy Playtime and a nickname Angel's Rune. You brought in Poppy Play. Wait, why does it remind you of Poppy Playtime? Sorry, I was just thinking about things. That's what we are called? Oh yeah, we're called Poppy's Angel or something. Man, I couldn't even remember what we were called. Are you going to share those things with the rest of the class? He sends me a playful smile and a gentle nudge into my side, and I couldn't help but laugh. When did we become so comfortable with each other, and when did he lose his stutter? It's nothing, really. Maybe a bit embarrassing. But, well, I was wondering, how do you feel about... My sentence gets cut short when a drop of rain lands on my cheek. Uh-oh. Instinctively, I look up and find myself wondering how I didn't notice those dark clouds in the sky sooner. Ah! All of a sudden, more droplets fall down, until it's all but pouring rain and forcing everyone in the area to find cover. Over here. Ren doesn't seem to pay much attention when he grabs me by the hand and pulls me underneath one of the awnings of a nearby building. He shields me from the rain with his body, and I couldn't help but feel tiny with the way his arms caged me in as he rests them against the wall. Hi. We look at each other in silence for a brief moment before erupting in laughter. Perhaps it was because of the adrenaline from all the panicked running, or the fact that Ren's hair was starting to lose its fluffiness, but I couldn't hold back from letting out a fit of giggles. This only seems to spur Ren on as well, until we're both wheezing out our lungs and gulping down air. I can't remember the last time I ran that fast. Me too. Are there hearts in his eyes? The looming sound of thunder echoes from afar and drowns out our laughter until we're both silent once more. Once we both calm down, Ren moves me further away from the rain before casting a glance behind him. Wait here. I'll buy us an umbrella so we can get out of this rain. But you'll get soaked. Tis a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Oh, my stars. I roll my eyes at his corny joke and send him off with an unamused smile. With an amused smile. He doesn't look back before he makes a mad dash out into the rain and down the street towards the closest convenience store. Though the rain only seems to get heavier the moment he leaves, and I find myself pressing even further against the wall behind me to avoid the recoil of the rain bouncing off the pavement. There wasn't much for me to do while I waited for Ren to return, aside from watching people scramble around for shelter. And just like that, the carefree sounds of laughter echoing from down the street capture my attention, as I watch Leon, Teo, and Jay all run to cover like their life depended on it. Well, it seems as though their beach outing got cut short as well. Glancing back once more, I barely make out the figure of Leon using his bag as a makeshift umbrella as he ducks under one of the awnings of an ice cream stand. All while Teo and Jay trail behind at a leisurely pace, kicking and splashing water at each other in the rain. I had to look away the moment Teo started to remove his shirt, and I had an inkling that it was so that he could show off. And knowing Jaehyun, he'd follow along like a mindless grunt, because that's what he always does when it came to his friends. A part of me felt like calling out to the group to see if I could wait out the storm alongside them, but they all seemed to be enjoying themselves and I didn't want to get in between that. Plus, I did promise Ren that I'd wait for him here, even if he is taking his sweet time. Was he ever going to return? There was still no sign of him or his comfy-looking cardigan, as I was beginning to wonder if he really did ditch me. After all, it must have been more than 15 minutes by now. What if he got caught up with something? Or what if he went back to see that cashier lady again? Her store did happen to be on the same street, but after spending the afternoon with Ren and getting to know him, I concluded that he wasn't the type of person to do such a thing. Plus, that'd be a really low blow considering that he was the one who offered to take me out on a date today. Although, if I was being honest with myself, it did seem as though they had chemistry. Especially with how she looked at him and touched his arm as though it was the most natural thing in the world. More like the most annoying thing in the world when she clearly saw me there. Like, what the fuck, lady? She apparently knew him as well, or at least he looked recognizable enough. Why did that thought make my blood boil? Thankfully, the rain was there to cool me off, as well as soak the end of my outfit and make everything feel damp and uncomfortable. Ew, no, wet clothes. Was Ren really coming back? It shouldn't take this long to buy an umbrella. We'll wait for Ren. Maybe something did come up. I'm sure he'll come back. As if on cue, I spot a familiar patch of pink hair from within the misty rain, frantically sprinting with an umbrella in one hand and a bag under the other. Angel! Althemia! Ah! He almost slams into me before stopping just in time, and I could tell by the way he was wheezing that he ran all the way back here without stopping. Sorry, I thought I almost lost you there for a second. It's hard to see in this weather. Jeez, Ren, what took you so long? I almost wanted to cuss him out for taking well over 20 minutes just to buy a single umbrella, but the genuinely apologetic look on his feature made me hold my tongue. Sorry, I ran into your friends from earlier, which took forever for me to shake them off. And then the convenience store ended up closing early due to the sudden weather change. And so then I had to go to that awful souvenir shop with that obnoxious and clingy cashier again. And he was talking a mile a minute, and I was worried he'd end up biting his tongue. Gently, I raised a hand to signal him to calm down, and his intense monologue soon comes to a halt. I'm really sorry about making you wait so long, but... Ta-da! I did manage to get an umbrella, among other things as well. What other things, I am curious. He gives it a small twirl in his hand, sending droplets of water all over the place. We can start heading back home now if you want, unless you want to go somewhere specific. My apartment, your apartment. Where do you want to go? Well, my place isn't far. We could wait out the storm there if you'd like. I even have a heater and dryer we could use. The image of me sitting in front of a warm, cozy heater was too hard to resist, and I ended up agreeing with Ren's suggestion. Despite the heavy downpour of rain, we managed to make it to Ren's apartment complex in one piece. I guess he really wasn't lying when he said his apartment wasn't far from mine. But judging from the pristine interior and fully functioning elevator, his building seemed to be in far better shape compared to my apartment. The elevator ride could have been a little less awkward though, if it weren't for the slow ascend and tacky music. Or for the fact that Ren deemed it appropriate to shake his hair like a wet dog and get water droplets everywhere. That's funny. Once the elevator door slides open, I was immediately met with a grandiose corridor and large spacious doors, and I found myself wondering how much it costs to live in a place like this. Don't look too hard at how messy my place is, okay? I wasn't expecting to have someone over today, so I didn't bother cleaning up. I'm sure it's not as bad as my place, or the entire apartment I live in, for that matter. Uh-oh. That bad, huh? Maybe you could live with me instead. Sorry, did you say something? No, I mean, well, I was just thinking. It's a bit strange, but no one lives on this floor aside from me. I'm not really sure why, but I'm not gonna complain. I can make as much noise as I want, no one would notice. Ren shoots me a mischievous grin, and I find myself wondering what he meant by that. Like loud music and stuff? Movies? Yeah, something like that. He unlocks the door with some electronic card attached to his keychain, and the moment the door swings open, I let out an audible gasp. Ren doesn't seem fazed in the slightest as he flicks on the lights and walks into his own home, but I could only stand at the entrance to his foyer in shock. Yes, foyer. He had a whole damn foyer in his apartment. What the fuck? This man's rich! Was this even an apartment? Surely a penthouse would have made more sense. Holy shit, Ren. Is there something wrong? What is it? I know the decor is kind of tacky, but it came with the apartment, and I haven't found the time to do anything about it yet. I'm sorry, but are you the long-lost heir of a billionaire or something? This place is huge. And, oh my god, is that marble? No, I get paid a lot for my job. Enough to afford rent, at least. You know, I don't think I've asked you this yet, but what exactly is your job? My job is, I guess you could say I'm a programmer? I don't know. Just take on a few jobs every so often. Nothing super fancy or anything. Nothing super fancy? Ren, you have marble flooring. Leaving the newly discovered programmer at the entrance, I curiously venture further into his apartment. Marble's a pain in the ass to clean, too. Oh, Angel, do you want some slippers? The floors can get cold, and your shoes are probably soaked, right? I could live in his place, right? Turning around, I notice Ren opening a small closet and pulling out a pair of dark house slippers. He looks at me with a curious expression, but makes no effort to hand them over. Only if you want them. I'll take them, but only because they might... Duchy? Duchy? Ren lets out a puff of laughter through his nose at my joke, but doesn't seem to deny it. As I put them on, I noticed how they were in my exact size, and it made me wonder if he had bought a bunch of expensive house slippers in varying sizes. But as funny as that imagery was, how did Ren accurately guess my shoe size without seeing my feet? Here, why don't I show you to the bathroom? I'll find you something to wear in the meantime while your clothes are in the dryer. Or would you prefer a towel? Sorry, I don't usually invite people over. Seeing his timid side resurface once more gave me the sudden urge to tease him. Hang on, wait. I'm running out of saves, and we still have another day to go through. Just a towel? Give me a shirt, sir. I don't think you understand, Lila. If he gives me a shirt, he ain't getting it back. It's mine now. I am that girlfriend that steals the clothes. Just a towel? Just a towel? Nothing else? Yeah, it's to keep you warm instead of taking a shower, unless you'd prefer a blanket, because I'm pretty sure I have an electric. Oh. No, wait, hoodies. I don't know if he has hoodies. If he has a hoodie, I'm taking it for sure. My hoodie now. It was as if all the gears inside his head were fully clicking together. No. I didn't mean. I mean a towel that you can wear over your clothes. Not just you in a towel, unless you'd want to. But that's just... Why would you... We broke him. I'm just going to shut up now. That wasn't what I meant at all, but his reaction was priceless nonetheless. Anyways, I'll show you to the bathroom. You can use whatever you want in there. Nothing is off limits. First it was offering to spend the night at my place, and then it was asserting himself as my boyfriend in front of my friends. He really doesn't care about personal boundaries, huh? At least when it comes to me. I was beginning to think that Ren didn't really seem to mind when it came to me invading his personal bubble as well. Though he still seemed pretty standoffish around Teo and Leon, and it took him a while to warm up to Eleanor back at the library. But I chalked it all up to him being his usual shy and eccentric self. Speaking of being shy, I still noticed how Ren didn't seem to be switching up his personality as much anymore, and I was beginning to think that he was showing me his real side. Up until now, everything felt real and genuine, and I found that we could bounce back witty retorts between each other more easily. Though every now and again, he might slip up and stutter, but I just assumed it was because my teasing made him flustered. So maybe the timid side of him was genuine after all. But I'll leave some clothes for you outside and put the plushie I bought for you in your room. My room? My room? Huh? Oh, yeah, thanks. Great, I was zoning out again and completely missed half of what he was saying. My room? Something about clothes and a plushie he bought. Was he talking about the Haruko plushie I was eyeing up earlier? I mean, he was carrying a gift bag from that souvenir shop earlier. Did he really buy me that toy? Ren, however, doesn't seem to pick up on my confusion, though, and invitingly opens the bathroom door for me with a soft smile. My room? And so, without trying to make things awkward, I quickly slip inside and lean against the door for support. Which was fortunate for me, because one sweep of the bathroom had me stumbling back in surprise. My room! I'm not getting over it. What do you mean, my room? He is a yandere. I mean, yeah, but... Anyways. Whoa. Even his restroom looked expensive. I was afraid of touching anything, fearing I'd accidentally break it and end up paying for it. Glancing around again, I noticed how his countertop seemed to be void of any dental care, hairbrushes, and skincare products. Though a few bottles of concealer and an open box of hair dye sat in the corner near the sink. Well, I guess that answers my burning question on whether or not he naturally had pink hair. But now it made me wonder, if Ren does dye his hair, then what was his natural hair color? There were still so many things I didn't know about that soft-looking guy, and I was beginning to question whether coming here was a good idea or not. With a sigh, I decided not to waste any more time thinking about irrelevant things, and instead turned my attention back to the shower. Quickly stripping off my clothes, I jump into the unnecessarily large glass booth and turn the water on. Glancing at Ren's shelf of, albeit limited, hair products, I couldn't help but notice that one brand in particular just so happened to be the exact same as mine. Did we use the same shampoo? He didn't really smell like me, but maybe that was because I wasn't paying much attention. I mean, who randomly smells people out of the blue anyways? My dog, Kalea. Shaking my head at such a silly notion, I began to scrub away the lingering smell of rain from my body and quickly finished washing up. Bundled up in a warm towel, I crack open a large door and poke my head out into the hallway. True to his word, Ren left a small pile of clothing outside the bathroom, neatly stacked and propped against the side of the wall. Bringing the contents back inside, I noticed that one piece of clothing in particular was a rather comfy-looking hoodie! My hoodie. But the design on the front, however, was rather morbid-looking and didn't really suit Ren's vibes. Maybe from a horror film or something? Shrugging my shoulders, I put the hoodie on and instantly get enveloped by the sheer amount of fabric. I mean, it made sense considering Ren's large and lanky frame, but this was just absurd. The hoodie ate me. This is the best day ever! I got a hoodie! I had to stifle a laugh from the amusing sight in the fogged-up mirror, but I had to admit that the soft fabric felt nice and warm against my skin. Even the scent that came from it felt oddly comforting somehow. Turning back to the remaining clothes in the pile, I gently pick up the next item and try to put it on. The gray set pants didn't seem to fit the length of my legs, despite the number of times I tried to roll up the elastic, but luckily, Ren was thoughtful enough to give me other alternatives. The dark pair of shorts seemed like the better option, especially since it came with a drawstring and deep pockets. I'm playing dress up in Ren's clothes, da 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 da. Once I was fully dressed, I step out of the bathroom and aimlessly walk around until I hear the faint sounds of a TV playing. Feeling curious, I follow the source of the sound down the hallway. Breaking news! A sudden storm hits the bay as gale force winds and knock over street signs and even awnings. Just before that, the sudden change in weather will die down soon, and to stay safe and I continue to follow the noise until it suddenly cuts out and changes into a glaring monotone sound, indicating that the television must have lost all signal. And soon enough, I found myself in Ren's spacious lounge room. Aside from the TV, the rest of the lights were off, but I could still make out most of the dark shapes within the room with ease. It was just as ostentatious as the rest of his house, though I couldn't help but feel like it lacked any form of life. It just didn't seem like someone actually lived here. The furniture was gaudy yet tasteless. There was hardly any personal decoration or colors, and there was nothing that really screamed Ren to me. There were no personal touches, photos, items, hobbies, nothing. Just tacky furniture and a bland smell of something sterile. If I was being honest, it gave off the same vibe as a dentist clinic or a hospital. Maybe he recently moved in? Who moved in? Hey! I see those tattoos hidden. Barely hidden, but I see them. Surprised by the sudden voice, I spin on my heel, only to find— wait a second, I see another tattoo. On my heel, only to find Ren coming out from one of the hallways with a new set of comfy clothing. He's seen much more at ease like this, especially with the gentle expression on his face. I watch as he takes a respectful glance at my attire before sheepishly averting his attention to the ends of his sleeves. Sorry, that's the smallest pair of clothing that I own. It looks really good on you, though. Oh, thanks. You can even keep them if you want. You're not getting this hoodie back. It's my hoodie. The sound of thunder rumbling in the distance cuts off Ren's mumbling, and I involuntarily step closer to him. Without missing a beat, he reaches out and rests a protective hand on my shoulder to steady me. Ren idly glances out of the window before turning his undivided attention back to me once more, only this time with a determined look. It's really pouring, huh? I could only nod my head at his words, suddenly feeling sheepish all of a sudden. I really should have checked the weather forecast before I went out today. But to be fair, it didn't look as though it'd start spontaneously raining when I left my apartment this morning. And I guess I was enjoying my time with friends to the point where I didn't even realize the weather was turning sour. Angel? Sorry, what did you say? I just asked if you wanted to stay the night here, you know, seeing how hard it's raining out there, and your clothes haven't finished drying yet. It'd be no trouble, I really wouldn't mind at all, but only if you wanna, of course. Staying at his place for the night? Well, this certainly isn't how I expected to end my day. But would it really be that bad? It definitely beats waiting out the storm and walking home with a bunch of puddles everywhere. What happens if I click the glitchy one? Oh, I clicked the glitchy one. What was that? Did I really want to stay the night at Ren's place? I guess I did. I couldn't really remember otherwise. I guess I could stay the night if that's really okay with you. Yeah, of course, it's totally fine. Wow, he really was an energetic, eccentric man, wasn't he? Let me know if you need any more pillows or blankets, or if the room gets too cold. I haven't worked out how to use the fancy heater system yet, but I can definitely try. Also, you already know where the bathroom is, but if you... Okay, I think I got it, Ren. I shoot him a reassuring smile as I turn to face him at the door. I should have gotten used to his attentive and observant behavior by now, but it still felt like a foreign side of him that I hadn't fully uncovered. Still, at least he wasn't stuttering as much anymore. I know, sorry. I just want you to be as comfortable as possible, so just treat this house like it's your own. Alright, gotcha. He looks like he doesn't want to leave and instead lingers in front of the door a little while longer. Are you sure there isn't anything else you need? Anything at all? There's a locked door? There's a locked door? The locked door. What door? You mean the one at the end of the hallway. All of a sudden, his timid persona is back again. Was he just nervous? What could he possibly be hiding in that room to make him act like this? I want to know. Secrets. There's nothing in particular, just, I'm currently using it as a storage room for the furniture from my old place. It's really messy in there. I'd be embarrassed if you saw what's behind that door. Oh, yeah, okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. Great, now I'm the person who threw accusations at someone kind enough to offer me a place to stay for the night. Still, it was nice to know that he did own some kind of furniture. Sorry, I guess I was just really curious about it. Usually people don't leave the lights on behind locked doors. Oh, yeah. I'd be happy to show you what's behind that door when it's not so cluttered. But if that's all, then I guess I'll let you get some sleep. If you need anything, my room is just 3 doors down. Gotcha. Good night, Ren. Good night, Althemia. Sweet dreams. I watch in silence as Ren turns on his heels and makes his way towards his own room down the hall. Shaking my head at his odd behavior, I close the door behind me and slowly make my way towards the bed. I noticed that the Haruko plushie Ren had bought earlier was sitting atop the sheets, and I gently bring it closer to my chest to give it a soft squeeze. So he really did buy this for me after all. This faintest hint of cherry and mint emits from the toy, and makes my mind drift off to thoughts of that strange pink-haired man once more. He was still as odd as usual, but some parts of him were starting to feel rather endearing. I noticed how he was no longer stuttering as much or acting as shy, and it made me wonder if we were getting closer. Not that I really thought about it. How did I feel about Ren? I think I'm okay. I'm crashing on him. Okay, so maybe I did find him rather endearing and attractive. Ren was very considerate and attentive towards me during our date, and I could see myself wanting to go on another date in the near future. He certainly had boyfriend potential, but I still needed to work up the nerve to make it lead towards that direction. He seemed far too hesitant to do it himself, but it would have been nice to see him put more effort into it as well. Well, just knowing Ren wanted to spend the entire day with me is enough. Rolling onto my side, I hug the plushie closer so I can be surrounded by his comforting scent and slowly drift off to sleep. Oh, we finished day 2. There you go. Okay, so... Yes, go back to the main menu. Load. I see you too! Okay, so there's a few I wanted to read your eye. A few. Which one is this one? This one! I wanted to see what would happen if I said he's my ex-boyfriend. Or just a fling. He's my ex-boyfriend. Yeah, I don't like to date people outside of my tax bracket. What? And don't get it twisted, doll. We were never exclusive. I never even brought up the concept of dating when I was with you. I regret wanting to see what this would do. Oh, that explains why you were fine with cheating on me. Wait, what? I thought you guys were just friends. What an asshole. Look, it's not cheating if I was never your boyfriend. Alright, why don't we change the subject? I'm sorry, you weren't my boyfriend? Then why would you ask me not to see other people? You think I'd want to share you with others and let them have what's mine? What the fuck? Before I can step forward and knock some sense into that idiot, Ren seems to beat me to it. He grabs the other male by the collar of his shirt, but Teo only looks on with a lazy smirk. What's your problem? Okay, enough. Look, why don't we just drop the issue? You really need to stop trying to pick fights with everyone, mate. Okay, I think this is... Yeah, that just continues to be the same. Okay. So, let's go back. Let's go back to this. Yes. Let's go if he's just a fling. Just a fling. I'm pretty sure he hit my lineup more than once. Oh my god, I hate him. I hate him so much. I hate you so much. Wait, what? I thought you guys were just friends. Yeah, we're friends. Friends who were real close. Right, doll? Aw, what's wrong with your face, Buttercup? What did you just call me? Okay, enough. Look, why don't we just drop the issue? You really need to stop trying to pick fights with everyone, mate. Okay, so that's gonna be the same again. Ah, I hate him! Not the last one. I've never seen this man before in my life, and I've never seen this woman in my life either. You guys are hilarious. With a sigh, I try my best to clear the air of any confusion. Alright, Teo's just a friend from university. You want to know what's hilarious? Buttercup's outfit over here. Oh my god, I hate him. What did you just call me? Okay. My god, there's no... I just hate him. I 100% hate Teo. That golf style is pretty cool. Good golf style. He also glances out the window and follows my line of sight before landing on the person walking by. They were decked out head to toe with heavy makeup, platform boots, and clothing you definitely find in stores like not Tropic. Ren's eyes seem to follow their form until they're out of sight, and an impassive look on his face made me curious. Yeah, it is kind of cool. Do you like that kind of style? Because I always thought you preferred something softer. Order 25! Okay, I think this is gonna continue. Yeah. We're not gonna change the food options. We're not gonna go through all that. Yeah. You've got something in your hair. Huh? At my words, Ren seems almost bashful as he sheepishly starts picking at the strands of his pink hair. But he seems to miss a small piece of fluff, no matter how many times he tugs at his roots. Here, let me. Stifling a laugh, I reached over the table to pluck the offending item out of his hair. Ren only seems to lean closer into my touch while his cheeks flush a light shade of red, and just as I pull the piece of fluff out, Order 25! Okay. We are not... Yeah, sorry, what were you saying? Oh, we were talking about your favorite webtoons. You mentioned having a collection of them back in your apartment, and I guess I got curious. Did I say that? And were we really still talking about myself? Surely I would have moved on to a different topic by now. Well, I've actually been reading this new webtoon lately. It's called Always with... Yeah. Order 25! Yeah, we're not going to go through all the food options, so I'm pretty sure that's not going to change much. Okay, here's this. Wait, this is a biggie. Let's walk home alone. This is stupid. Forget it. It doesn't really matter what he was doing. Ren shouldn't have taken over 20 minutes to buy an umbrella. That was just ridiculous. Besides, it was getting cold and the wind was starting to pick up. If I stay out here any longer, I'll probably get swept away. Violet's flower shop should be nearby. Maybe I could wait out the storm there. I mean, it was only a few blocks away, and she did tell me about the spare key under one of the flower pots in case of an emergency. This was kind of an emergency, right? Just as I psyched myself up to sprint towards the next overhang roofs across from me, a cold hand wraps around my wrist and scares the absolute shit out of me. Yanking back, I instinctively turned around in panic before meeting Ren's worried blue eyes. Angel, where are you going? You shouldn't be running anywhere in this weather. Jeez, Ren, what took you so long? Okay. Okay. So this is... That didn't do much. Yeah, Teo's a dick. Okay, I want to do... We can go to my... No, let's... Yeah, we can go to my apartment. We'll do that one first. Your apartment? Sure, it's close by anyways. I can walk you home. The image of me taking a nice warm bath after being out in this weather was too hard to resist, so I end up eagerly stepping under Ren's umbrella before heading back home. In the end, Ren ended up walking me back home. Yet despite being the one to hold the umbrella, he still got wet because he offered most of it to me. Ren really was considerate, but it didn't stop me from feeling bad whenever I saw the wet patch on his shoulder. Eventually enough, my apartment's entrance comes into view, and I suddenly wished that time would slow down. I wasn't sure why, but I was enjoying my time with Ren, even though I still didn't know much about him. All that I did know was that he was very attentive when it came to me, and that he was willing to put in the effort to get to know me better. It was honestly very sweet seeing Ren be so considerate. He still came off a bit odd and eccentric at times, but that side of him was slowly starting to grow on me. Glancing back at the pink-haired man beside me once more, I watch as he carefully twirls the umbrella in his grip and shoots me a playful smile. It seems as though he shared the same sentiment as me, judging by how his feet started slowing down the moment we ascended my apartment staircase. With a smile, I turned to face Ren, only to realize that he was already looking at me with an all-too-familiar soft grin. So, here we are. Thanks for going out with me today. I'm sorry I got cut short because of the weather. I really should have looked at the weather app before leaving, huh? It's fine. Maybe we could try this again another time, preferably on a day without rain. Yeah, I'd like that. We stand around at the entrance for a while before I'm gonna kiss his cheek. I'm gonna save. Ah! I really am running out of saves! I wanna kiss his cheek. It's cold! Well, I bet it's cold. It's raining in the game. Before I can stop myself, I take a step closer to Ren and gently pull him closer by the front of his cardigan. He seems surprised at my actions with how wide his eyes get, but it doesn't stop me from leaning upwards and pressing a soft kiss against his cheek. The smell of cherries and fresh linen lingers when I pull away, and I watch with slight amusement as Ren's cheek instantly flare a deep scarlet. Thanks for walking me home. Uh-huh. I can almost see the steam rise from his head as he remains in his slouched over position, so I awkwardly pat his chest to get him to loosen up. I mean, yeah, of course, don't mention it. He almost bumps his head with the umbrella as he leans back, but remains close to my side. Well then, much like the first time I met him at the library, I awkwardly gestured to the door behind me as I try and find a way to excuse myself. Sometimes Ren really made these kinds of situations difficult. I should head back inside now, and you should get out of this rain. Oh, yeah, I probably should. He still makes no sign of leaving, which made me wonder if he was waiting to make sure that I made it safely inside my apartment. As if to test that theory, I give him a small wave and turn on my heel. Oh, before you go, this is for you. Without another word, Ren shoves the bag he was holding into my arms with a forced smile. Peering inside, I noticed the Haruko plushie I had been eyeing earlier. He really went out of his way to get this for me? Wow. Well then, I'll be going. Goodbye, Angel. Before I could respond, Ren was already turning on his heels and walking back the same way he came. Aw, this is a cute ending too. With a warm and fuzzy feeling still inside me, I climb up the flight of stairs until I reach my floor. I highly doubt my landlord had fixed the elevator yet, if the caution tape was anything to go by. But it was difficult to focus on those things when all I could think about was Ren's warmth lingering on my lips. But a flash of white manages to pull me from my thoughts, and I notice Violet lingering near the stairwell entrance to our floor. Althemia! Hey, I'm guessing the weather put a fork in your plans too, huh? She moves to unlock her door, and I notice how one of her potted plants have been moved to the busted window at the end of the hallway. I'm guessing Violet had moved it to make use of the free rain, and make it easier to water her plants without the effort. Want to come in for a while? This weather is making me feel rather chilly. I can brew some tea to warm us up if you'd like. Sorry, Vi. As much as I'd love to, my social battery is kind of drained by now. Oh, that's okay. I totally get it. You just need some time alone to unwind, right? In that case, Carla over here is good company. She won't talk, but she'll listen to your problems without complaint. She hands me a small bouquet made from an assortment of colored tulips before waving me off and stepping into her apartment. The smell of lavender wafts as she pokes her head out of the door, and the scent immediately calms my senses. My offer still stands if you ever change your mind, though. Just knock and I'll get the kettle running. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Althemia. Toodles. Man, Violet really was something, huh? She's sweet. Stepping into the comfort of my apartment, I discard my keys into the bowl and take off my shoes. Ignoring the awful squelching sound it makes, I try my best not to leave a puddle of water in my wake as I make my way into the lounge room. I pull out the Haruko plushie from the bag and set it on the couch before I turn the television on and prepare myself for a much-needed shower. Aching news. The body of a young woman has been pulled from a dumpster on Cornell Street, no more than 5 feet from the place she worked at. Paramedics say she suffered multiple blunt forces to her vital organs, as well as showing signs of stress and struggle. Viewer creation is advised, as these images contain scenes that may be all of a sudden, the TV turns into static, and I can only assume that it was caused by the storm. I didn't need to look outside the window to know that it had only gotten worse, and I wonder if Ren was going to be alright on the walk back to his apartment. He killed? I hope he didn't kill her! Eleanor was sweet! So I hope he didn't kill her. Also, who was the person on the TV? The reporter seemed to be standing outside of a hardware store, which wasn't far from the pier Ren and I went to today. Damn, I really wanted to know more. Did he kill Olivia? Did he kill Olivia? Despite that, I don't feel like taking any chances with this freak storm, so I quickly race to the bathroom before the power turns off next. Did he kill? With my body finally free from the smell of rain, I let out a satisfied sigh as I slip into the comfort of my bed. I didn't even notice that I had brought my new plushie into the bedroom, but I bring it closer to my side and bury my face in all of its fluffiness. He was angry. Man, that chick was annoying as fuck, but she didn't deserve to die. The faintest hint of cherry and mint emits from the toy and makes my mind drift to thoughts of that strange pink-haired man once more. He was still as odd as usual, but some parts of him were starting to feel rather endearing. I noticed how he was no longer stuttering as much or acting as shy, and it made me wonder if we were getting closer. Now that I really thought about it, how did I feel about Ren? I will go again if I think I'm crushing on him. I'm gonna save, because I like this route so far of us going home, because it feels more natural to me. But I still think we're gonna still go if I'm crushing on him. Yeah. Yep. 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 Rewrite that. Yep. 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 Okay. Man! Olivia, you fucked with the wrong yandere. Why am I clicking everything but the correct button, man? Okay. And then the last choice. Wait, did I save? Now I did. I'm running out of saves! I have to start using day 1 saves. Okay, now we're gonna go back to... Where is it? We're gonna go with this one and go with forget it, I'm going home alone. Ren, you took way too long. I honestly thought you left me at this point. Huh? Why would I... Look, it doesn't matter. You've already wasted my time and now I'm all soaked. I don't like this one. It doesn't... Yeah, it feels nasty. I'm just gonna head home. Thanks for today, but after waiting for so long, I'm no longer in a good mood. But wait. He grabs onto my wrist again, but this time his grip was much stronger, almost as if he wanted to keep me here. Turning to face him, I barely give him more than a second to explain himself before I decided to walk off. Thank you for the stretch, Firedale. You wanted that Haruko plushie from earlier, right? I bought it on the way back. I really didn't think it'd take this long, but as if to prove a point, he offers me the bag from under his arm. And true to his word, there was the plushie I was eyeing earlier, all wrapped up in a plastic casing to stop it from getting wet. It almost pulled at my heartstrings, and I would have found his consideration endearing like usual. But something about seeing Ren with that cashier from earlier still rubbed me the wrong way. For all I know, he could have been chatting her up while she wrapped the toy. No, it's fine. You can keep it. I just want to go home, okay? So please let go of my arm now. As if finally noticing his grip on me, Ren hesitantly lets go of my arm. But not before gently placing the bag into my arms for me to take and offering me a pitiful smile. Really, I was just buying this for you. I'm really sorry it took me so long. I merely offer him one final nod of my head before I turn on my heel. Whether or not he perceived that as me accepting his apology was up to him. You're really going? Wait, He reaches for my sleeve this time, and I feel him give it a faint tug before he lets go, almost as if he remembered my words from earlier. Please don't go. Please stay. I'll buy you something else. What about your favorite snack? Or do you want another croissant? There's a convenience store nearby. Or maybe some more manga? We can go to the library instead. Was he seriously putting up that timid act again? After all this time, I don't even bother turning around at this point. Angel, please. Please don't go. I'm sorry. Let me make it up to you. Althemia. His voice gets drowned out by the rain as I hurriedly run back home using his bag as a makeshift umbrella. I don't like that. Slamming the door shut, I immediately throw the bag in frustration, before picking it back up and ensuring that the contents inside were still okay. After all, while this poor Haruko plushie didn't deserve such horrid treatment, Ren sure did. Placing it back on the table, I decided to change out of my wet clothes and take a quick shower. There was no use in making things even worse by catching a cold. I could even check to see if Moth was online later and vent to them. God, I really wanted to scream right now. I don't like this one. Once I was finished with my shower, I noticed that the plushie was no longer on the table where I left it. Strange. Did it fall off? I shuffle around the kitchen island to investigate when the power suddenly turns off. Great. Now there's a blackout too, huh? In a pathetic attempt to not bump into anything, I fumble around for the cupboard under the sink to try and find some spare matches and candles. But as I do so, I barely make out the sound of my front door creaking open. Ah, shit. Again? Hi, how are you? Althemia, why are you doing this? You're not going to find anything here. Anything where? It's just me. Nothing else exists here. Huh? Why don't you just play the game normally? Huh? What do you mean play the game normally? I am playing the game normally. That way, neither of us will have to be stuck in this dark void. I love being with you, watching you interact with everything. Can you see me? No, you can. Can this game see me? Everything is so bright and colorful when you're around. Is it? Are you sure? Will you let me out? I think that's above my pay grade. Please let me out. I think it's above my pay grade to let you out, kind sir. It's no fun here. I don't know what to do. I want to be with you. I'm not all daisies either. You don't want to be with me. Trust me. I got a lot of problems, you know? I love you. Yeah. You love the idea of me. Trust. Oh. Oh no. Stop that. Okay, well, we got the bad end. Let's continue on with day 3, shall we? Ha. Let's just, how much time do we got? We got enough time. Let's go on to day 3. Was this the ending I liked where we went to our home? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this is the one where we went to our house. Okay. Let's go to day 3. Almost like clockwork, my body reacts to the all too familiar sounds of birds chirping outside my window, and it pulls me from the depths of dreamland. Hang on one sec. Sorry. I had mucus. Groggily, I roll onto my side and reach for my phone on the nightstand. I briefly get flashbanged from the brightness of my screen before squinting my eyes to make out the time. And glancing at the clock, I noticed I somehow managed to wake up an hour earlier than usual, and that I received a few messages from Moth at some point last night. Opening them up, I casually begin to skim through them. Tell me you've seen the newest Attack on Giant theories. I have not, but you want to see this cute-ass plushie I got? Big, fat, massive spoiler alert! Haruko lives? His ass really survived that massive blast for the sorcerer? Look at these pics. You can clearly see part of his outfit in one of them. He's clearly still alive. Moth, calm down. Look at my plushie. Look how cute it is. By the way, let me know when you're awake so I can tell you about something super important. Anyways, back to my Haruko theory that I came up with and definitely did not steal from some forum online. In this 329-page essay, I will... I love Moth. There still seem to be quite a few more lengthy messages from Moth underneath, but I figured I got the overall gist of things already. In fact, after looking at all of these messages, I was beginning to think that Moth didn't really have anyone else to talk to about Attack on Giants, which didn't really surprise me. They weren't exactly the best at opening up and getting to know others, let alone with strangers online. So it was a wonder how we managed to become friends in the first place. Back then, we were both new fans who wanted to fawn over Attack on Giants on some online forum, and we somehow crossed paths and clicked immediately. And even now, the franchise is still insanely popular with the anime community, garnering many fans who love to discuss episode theories with others online. Yet Moth always seems to come to me before anyone else, and for that, I was grateful. I honestly didn't mind in the slightest, and I also got to gush to them about my hyperfixations in return. But man, I just wished our time zones would be more lenient. I always manage to catch Moth as soon as I'm going to bed, and they always seem to message me while I'm halfway through my sleep cycle. Well, there was no use in thinking too much about it. Putting those thoughts aside for now, I decided to spend the rest of my morning going through the rest of Moth's messages instead, and even sending back a few theories of my own before getting ready for work. But before I begrudgingly leave the warmth and comfiness of my bed in favor of making breakfast, I make sure to give my new Haruko plushie a squeeze and a pat on the head. Heh. With a full stomach and a slight bounce in my step, I casually make my way towards the Corland Bay Library. Even from here, I can make out Eleanor's fancy welcome message written on the chalkboard sign. And from the looks of the parking situation outside, it didn't seem that busy. Yet. What captures my interest, however, is a black sports motorbike propped up in one of the parking spots. I can make out a ton of small anime decals on the tank, but what really catches my attention were the "Always With You" stickers. Whoever owned that bike must have been a fan of the webcomic, and I honestly wanted to be their friend because of it. Because as unfortunate as it is, the only person I had to talk to about this was Moth. But it made a lot of sense considering how "Always With You" was only published recently, and the fandom was still so small. Not many people were aware of its existence, but that was slowly starting to change. My nose. Physical copies of the webcomic were starting to appear in stores, and despite my attempts, I had yet to get my hands on one. Oh well, maybe one day. Now isn't the time to be dwelling on these things. I would have been late for work if I stayed in my head any longer. Not wasting any more time, I quickly speed up the stairs and enter the library. But I barely make it 3 feet inside before a mess of a blonde hair enters my field of view and almost knocks me over. Eleanor! Althemia! There you are! Quick, I need your help! Hey Eleanor, what you need? Eleanor's anxious demeanor catches me off guard, and I immediately do a sweep of the library for anything out of place. But I'm hardly given any time to take in my surroundings before Eleanor reaches for my arm and all but drags me behind the reception counter and towards a mountain of paperwork. Stacks upon stacks of books, files, newspapers, and manila folders cover the entire expanse of their desk. And for the briefest moment, it almost resembled a messy archive repository rather than her workstation. Jeebus. What's all this? This was supposed to be sorted out yesterday. I swear I did it already. In fact, I know I did. I remember leaving it all in Conan's office before I left work yesterday. So you can imagine my surprise when I saw it back on my desk this morning. Eleanor seems genuinely concerned, especially with how she's flitting about and pacing back and forth in front of me. It was almost like she'd seen a ghost, and if I didn't know any better, I honestly would have believed it. Please help me. If Conan finds out I somehow messed up again, I don't know what will happen. Hey, don't worry, Elle. I'll help. And I doubt Conan would get mad at you. You know how he is. I suppose you're right. Her shoulders seem to visibly relax at my words, and she slumps into her chair with a heavy sigh. Thank you so much, Althemia. Do you think you can manage a stack of books? I'll handle all of the files. Without missing a beat, lest our boss magically appear somewhere behind us, we immediately get to work. Time flies by quickly when I have my chatty coworker to keep me company. She fills me in on how the freak storm caught everyone off guard and how some of the patrons shared the same idea of seeking refuge within the library as well. Apparently, Eleanor was the only one around to keep an eye on things, and from the sound of it, she seemed to take on the leadership role like a pro. Still, discussing her whereabouts had me thinking. That reminds me, where did you go the other day? The other day? What do you mean? You remember Ren, the pink-haired guy? Oh, Loverboy. Yeah, him. After we had that conversation with Ren, I never saw you afterwards. Oh, let me think. I watch as she inclines her head to the side to think, and all too quickly she snaps her fingers and gives me an affirmative nod. Oh, that's right. Well, this is a bit embarrassing, but I ended up going home early. I must have accidentally bumped into something while cleaning the stockroom the other day, and before I knew it, one of the shelves came tumbling down on me. It wasn't until a little while later when Conan found me and pulled me out. You knocked over an entire shelf? Jeez. Miss Creston. Knowing I was only teasing, Eleanor sends me a sheepish smile and bows her head to hide her reddening cheeks. But now that I think about it, the shelves in the stockroom had always seemed relatively stable to me. My coworker wasn't known for her strength, so it didn't make much sense for it to topple over her that easily. But thankfully, Eleanor elaborates more, almost as if she could hear the gears in my head working overtime. Well, I suppose it was a tad bit odd. I mean, I've worked in this library for more than 5 years now, and not once have I heard so much as a creak from those shelves. It does seem strange, yeah. Well, I have no doubt Conan will be installing new storage shelves soon. Oh, speaking of, Did you notice the new awnings outside the library? I suppose that sudden storm from yesterday has something to do with it. In fact... Oh, perhaps you saw it on the news already. Some poor woman was found. Our conversation gets cut short as I watch Eleanor's attention drift behind me and towards the flashing red light above one of the shelves. Duty calls, I guess. As soon as she stands, I shoot her an appreciative smile, which she returns with an apologetic one of her own, and meanders her way towards the aisle. Now left to my own devices, I go back to sorting through the books and putting them into separate piles. I managed to get a solid 10 minutes to myself before the sudden sense of unease creeps up on me. It felt as though someone was watching me, so I take a curious sweep across the vicinity to try and locate the source. But nothing seems out of the ordinary. People are studying, others were quietly typing away at the computers, and I can even spot the back of Eleanor's head from her spot near the fantasy fiction aisle. Nothing was out of place, yet. An unnerving feeling of having eyes on the back of my head still lingered. In fact, now that I thought about it, it was eerily similar to the feeling I got when I was walking home a few days ago. Violet's words about someone breaking into my apartment echo in my mind before it all suddenly dawns upon me. The supposed person watching me, could it somehow be linked? No, definitely not. Shaking my head, I tried to dismiss those unsettling thoughts before they start to develop into something more sinister. There was no one watching me. After all, there was hardly anything impressive about me to warrant a stalker in the first place. I was as plain as they come, and if some asshole really did break into my house, they left empty-handed. That alone clearly proved that I don't own anything worth stealing. Except maybe my limited edition Attack on Giant figurines. But even then, I remember thoroughly inspecting my entire apartment once I got home. Nothing was out of place, nor looked like it had been touched. Everything was as I left it that morning. Yet, it still didn't explain why I was feeling this way. Fear and apprehension seemed to overwhelm my senses so much that my mind barely registers the sound of something rustling. And I looked down to see that I had been worrying the papers in my hands for the past few minutes. Uh-oh. Have I been stressing out that badly? Jeez, I really was letting all this paranoia get the best of me. Shaking my head once more, I decided it's best not to let those thoughts fester and grow into something far bigger than it should be. No one broke into my apartment, and no one was watching me right now. I was making a mountain out of a molehill, and nothing was going to scare me. New person. Hello? Ack! Whoa. Instead of some creepy stalker dressed in all black, I was met with blonde hair and expensive-looking clothing. Was this the person I felt watching me? It was difficult to make out her words over the loud, rapid sounds of my heartbeat, so I tried my best to calm down before responding. Sorry, I didn't notice you come in. Ahem. Welcome to the Corland Bay Library. Can I help you with anything? I hope I sounded professional enough, though I'm sure there was still a lingering sense of fear in my words and a facial expression to match. But it starts to dissipate as I take in the woman's appearance. Her green eyes seem oddly familiar to me, but what gives it all away is how the woman slightly inclines her head to the side as she looks over me with concern. Surely not. Was that... I don't suppose... Are you Kiara? Eleanor's told me all about you. In the flesh. I'm actually here to visit my darling sister. Would you believe? But now you've piqued my interest. She shoots me a harmless wink and rests her hands atop the reception counter. Wow. Even the clanging of her jewelry sounds expensive, and I can't help but look at her in awe. Tell me, what has Nori said about me? She wants her jacket back. She really, really admires you. She wants her jacket back. I'm going to hit this one. I need a save. My saves! I'm running out of them. She wants her jacket back. Her what? Surely not that raggedy old thing she always keeps in the trunk of her car. I'm honestly doing her a favor. Besides, doesn't her outfit look cuter without it? I think. Althemia! As if summoning Eleanor... Wow, they do look alike. Her hair is just darker, though. Kiara's hair is darker, I mean. As if summoning Eleanor herself, she emerges from somewhere behind me and joins us at the front desk. Kiara, what are you doing here? There she is. What, am I not allowed to see my little sis? I'm at work right now. You could have texted me in advance. But I wanted to surprise you. And look, I come bearing gifts. At that, Kiara places down a few bags branded with high-end prints and designer logos. Sorry, darling. If I knew I'd be meeting you here, I would have brought extra. Well, I'm sure there's something for you in one of the bags as well. Pick whatever Eleanor doesn't want. I genuinely wish I could be rich enough to say something like that. Is it gonna let me choose? Oh, I thought it was gonna let me choose. I was like, huh? The sisters seem fully engrossed in each other's presence, so I leave them alone so that they can have their moment to catch up. After all, I didn't know how long it'd been since Eleanor and Kiara had seen each other, and the mountain of work in front of me wasn't going to sort itself out in the meantime. But before I can silently slip away and sit back down, a tattooed arm boxes me in and commands my attention. Oh no, please don't be Teo. And for the second time today, the expensive smell of wealth and luxury floods my senses. Only this time, I knew the person it belonged to. Please. Please no. Please no. No! Why'd it have to be you? I don't like you. Go away. Giving you a lifetime ban from the library. Damn, who are they? Seemingly out of nowhere, Teo appears with that familiar smirk on his face and an unbothered drawl in his tone. He's absolutely shameless with how his eyes take in both of the sisters' appearances before he's leaning more of his weight onto his arm and shooting me an expectant look. Don't even think about it, Teo. Trust me, you don't want to know what I'm thinking about right now. Given how he leans even closer to my side with a sultry grin, I end up believing his words. After all, I wouldn't put it past Teo to think up multiple ways to cause a scene in his free time. Ow. Not jealous, are you? Hell no. Why would you even... Whether or not it was my sudden outburst that captures their attention, Eleanor and Kiara finally seem to notice us, and I thank my lucky stars for a chance to escape this conversation. Perhaps I could sneak off to the employees' lounge while everyone was busy talking. I'm sure. You work here too? I've got a few things here that you could check out. Ugh. Despite my disgust at Teo's blatant flirting, Eleanor seems to be eating it up with a slight blush on her cheeks. Oh, actually, I'm just visiting. I don't work here, but little Nori over here does. I'm sure she can help you out. Despite her friendly tone, Kiara seems to be passively shutting down Teo's attempts at flirting and redirecting it towards Eleanor instead. Yet Teo doesn't seem to be picking up on it, instead choosing to lean a little more against the counter so that his muscles flex under his form, fit his shirt, and crosses his ankles. You're not from around here, are you? I don't remember a face like yours. The name's Theodore, by the way, but cuties like you can call me Teo. Charming. I'm Kiara. And no, I'm only in town for a few weeks. I'm visiting some relatives and finding some inspiration before I head back home. Inspiration, huh? I can show you around. Well, aren't you fun? What about my baby sister? Huh? But I'm older than you. Come on, live a little, Nori. You always tell me how you're holed up at work all the time. I suppose, but looks like you're in need of a bit of fun. I can help with that. Have either of you been to the aquarium yet? It opened recently. Not yet, but I have to give your offer a pass, I'm afraid. Aquarium's not your style? You're not my style. Ooh. Ooh, damn. Damn. Ouch. I want to high five Kiara. Despite the low blow to his ego, Teo didn't look the least bit offended. In fact, he seems to thrive off of it. But as if fate felt the urge to intervene, Kiara's phone suddenly goes off and startles everyone. Sorry, give me a sec. I need to take this call. She slips away before any of us can have the chance to respond, and without missing a beat, Teo immediately takes her previous spot besides Eleanor. And what about you? Me? Don't see anyone else around, Princess. Oh, well, I mean, I think it'd be fun, but it's supposed I would be a bit awkward if it's just you and me. You heard her, doll. As if finally acknowledging my presence, Teo turns to me with an expecting look on his face. Why don't you tag along? I'll even see if Leon wants to join the fun. It'll be like a double date. I don't want to go with you. I don't want to go anywhere near you. Double date or not. At that, Eleanor visibly seems to relax a bit. I spare a quick glance in her direction, and I can pick up on the barest hint of hope in her eyes. Wait, she wanted to go on a date with Teo? I don't know, Elle. Aw, what? Got better things to do? Yeah, staying away from you. Look, I'll pay for everything. I can even pick you up as well if you want. Sound good? Not that I'd openly admit it to Teo, but his offer is finally starting to sound tempting. I mean, free food and a free outing? It was too good to refuse. However... Fine, but only if Leon will be there. I want to say fine, but I really hate him. I hate Teo. Ugh. I would say no thanks, but tell him to take Leon anyways. Right? I wish I could. I hate Teo. But Eleanor. Teo seems to roll his eyes at that, clearly used to be bringing up my childhood friend all the time. Atta girl. Knew you weren't gonna chicken out on us. I wish I picked the other option now. Then it's settled. Leon and I will meet you both here tomorrow after work. What time do you finish? Around... There you are, Althemia. Ah, I didn't realize you were busy. Finally! It was as if someone had heard my prayers this time. Conan emerges from somewhere behind me. What was up with that today? And offers me an escape from the current conversation. And without missing a beat, I turn towards my savior and spare him a thankful glance. I make sure to silently apologize to Eleanor as well, clearly uneasy with the thought of leaving her alone with Teo. But she seems all too happy with how she subtly shoos me away with a hand behind her back. Sure, I can slip away for a moment. Did you need something? Just an extra pair of hands to sort through some boxes. But if you're busy, I'll manage it by myself. It's fine, I could use a breather. Okay, so perhaps I didn't need to announce that so joyfully. Regardless, I turn back towards Eleanor and Teo to send them one final apologetic look before following after Conan. Get me out of here. Apologies for this. I didn't mean to steal you from your friends. This happened to be sorting through all of the books a coworker managed to knock over this morning and making sure they were all in the correct category before putting them back onto the cart. It felt eerily similar to what I had been previously doing with Eleanor, only this time, there weren't any Teo-shaped annoyances to keep me company. But man, I swear, Conan had to be the only boss who'd be perfectly fine with their employees slacking off to talk with their friends instead. He hadn't said a word about Teo, and possibly Kiara too, depending on how long he'd been standing behind me, and seemed more than okay with us huddling around the reception desk. Acquaintances and friend, the male is not a friend. Male is not a friend. Deciding not to push my luck, I returned Conan's soft look with one of my own. It's fine, don't worry about it. I've been meaning to ask you something. Actually, has everything been going alright with you? Nothing shady has been happening lately. What do you mean? You haven't seen the news? Someone's body was found in an alleyway near your neighborhood. She was supposedly bludgeoned and beaten past the point of recognition. It's horrifying to think someone is capable of such crimes. Admittedly, I have been worried for your safety as of late. You live by yourself, correct? Yeah, but my neighbor checks in with me almost regularly. Now that I think about it, she's also been concerned for my safety. That's good. I'm glad. Listen, if something ever happens... Conan awkwardly glances over his shoulder before returning his gaze back to me. Nothing but sincerity stares back, and I find myself in a stunned silence. Here, it's my personal number. Huh. Cool. But due to the lack of clarification, I ended up sending him a confused look instead of thanking him. I know you've only recently moved back to Corland Bay, but you've yet to put someone down as your emergency contact. I'm worried you won't have anyone to call in case something does happen. I want to make sure you're safe at all times. Oh, thank you, Conan. Of course. He gives my shoulder a gentle pat before resuming his original task. The conversation falls back into an easy, comfortable silence, and I pocket his number before pouring all of my focus towards the books laid out in front of me. Can we put Ren down? He's stupid rich. Oh my stars, Layla. The rest of my shift passes by uneventfully, and at some point Eleanor informs me that Kiara had to leave for a work-related matter and wouldn't be coming back for a few days. Still, it was really nice to finally meet Eleanor's sister, and it was even kinder of her to gift me a fountain pen before she left. Or at least I assumed it was Kiara. I found the expensive-looking box sitting on my desk once I returned, and I wasted no time in opening it up and examining the contents. The pen itself appeared to be made from extremely high quality materials, and the cursive A+R logo looked rather fancy underneath the light. The ink was a rich, deep A+R. Hold up. Kiara did not gift us that pen. The ink was a rich, deep red too, which I couldn't wait to use on my papers. I don't think that's ink. I made a mental note to get something for Kiara as well before pocketing the pen next to Conan's number and packing up my belongings for today. But as I'm slipping out the library's back door, I notice a familiar broad backside, a patch of blonde hair, and a bright red Hawaiian shirt standing near the alleyway's entrance. What are you two dumbasses doing out here? Ah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I almost forgot. As if sensing my presence, Leon turns around and greets me with one of his familiar warm smiles. Good day, Darl. Been a while. He sends me a toothy grin before making space for me within the group. Eleanor greets me with a delicate wave, and Teo looks moderately annoyed, as usual. Teo is just introducing me to Eleanor and yarring about this little outing he has planned. Hey. How come you never told me you've never been to the aquarium before? Makes sense, though. I reckon it was built a bit after you left the bay, right? So I doubt you had time to check it out. Pretty much. Most of my free time has been taken up with moving and unpacking boxes. I couldn't help but find myself agreeing with his words. It was crazy how Leon seemed to know me so well, even though we hadn't had the chance to speak to each other like this in a while. The only reason I can get along with Leon is his attitude and possible southern comfort. It is oddly comforting. Like a brotherly sort of way. But I'm curious to see what it's like. What about you, Nori? I couldn't help but let Kiara's nickname for her slip. Oh, yes, I'm the same. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I've never been to an aquarium before, so this should be fun. Well, here's hoping the weather will be more lenient tomorrow. It was pissing down buckets yesterday, wasn't it? Did you make it home all right, Sunfish? All of a sudden, that eerie feeling comes back, and I resist the urge to turn around and look behind me. I only now notice that I've had my back to the dark alleyway this entire time. Althemia? Sorry, what was that? You alright? You look like you've seen a ghost. I watch as Leon looks behind me before glancing at Teo and Eleanor for what seems like reassurance. No, it's nothing. I guess I've had a long day at work. Nah, I get it. Feeling tired? You should head on home then. Please don't let us keep you longer than we should. Want me to drop you off? Car's out front. As much as I appreciated everyone's concern, I honestly wanted to be left alone right now to clear my head. and going on a walk would surely do me wonders. Besides, it was still somewhat bright out and there were people around, so I had no reason to worry about my non-existent stalker. I also heard that some new merch arrived at the local manga store, which I had been meaning to check out, so that would surely help to get my mind off things. It was along my route home anyway. What harm could possibly come out of a quick detour? At that thought, I quickly placate everyone's concern before bidding my goodbyes and heading off alone down the street. It wasn't until I got far away from the library that the eerie feeling started to dissipate. Manga store. Manga store. Manga store. Manga store. The nostalgic smell of comic books and plastic greets me as I entered the all-too-familiar manga store, and I immediately beeline my way towards the anime aisle. I was set on collecting the last remaining accessories for my mini Attack on Giants display, and I wasn't about to let my paranoia get in the way of that. But as I was passing through a few of the aisles, I noticed a familiar shade of pink near the cashier. Is that Ren? Look at his bunny tail! Dude! I see tattoo. Wait, that tattoo's covered. Is that a new tattoo? That one's covered. That has to be a new one. I see tattoos. Does that say angel? Is that? Yes, I was getting face deep trying to see it. Even though he was wearing a mask and had his hair tied back, I could easily pick out his large and lanky frame anywhere. He has a hoodie, one that I can steal, please. Sneaking closer, I notice how he appears to be in a hushed conversation with the manager about something confidential. If their closeness was anything to go by, before he places a thick manila envelope into their hands and leans back. Huh? But before I had the chance to make myself known, Ren is already turning on his heel and slipping behind large racks filled with cosplays and gaming-themed apparel. Huh? His height does him no favors, though, as I watch his head peek out from the top as he bobs and weaves his way towards the side entrance. At that very moment, my phone decides to jump scare me by suddenly go off, and it startles me enough to temporarily forget about Ren. Letting out a string of curses, I reach into my back pocket and pull it out, only to see Moth's name flash on the screen with a grin. I accept the video call and hold my phone up to my face. Moth! Dude, we finally get to see Moth. Hey, listen, now isn't really a good time to talk, but... Oh no, that's terrible. Get well soon. Oh, sorry for your loss, or whatever. Anyways, listen. Guess who won an all-paid holiday trip overseas? Me, that's who. Oh, my stars. It had been a while since I'd last seen Moth's face, but they appeared just as boisterous as I remembered them. For free, too. I mean, okay, yeah, I still need to pay for my food and stuff, but hey, where are you? I'm in a manga store. Hold on, can we backtrack for a second? You got free tickets to where? Is that a Haruko figurine? Can you get it for me? Please, 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 please. Moth. I'll pay you back, promise. I'll pay for shipping too. It's so cute. Oh, my stars. Look at his little outfit. Look at his tiny little jacket and tiny little shoes. With a high roll, I reach behind me for the figurine, but not before picking up the accessories I originally came in here for and slowly make my way towards the cash register. Once Moth hoots and hollers calm down, I gently try to coax them back into the original topic. Moth is you. Ah, shut up. All right, you asked where I'm going. Well, it's actually a surprise. Seriously, a good... Why is it glitching? A good surprise, though. Hey, you're still in Corland. For a brief moment, their screen starts to lag and a loading symbol pops up. Moth. But I'll be in almost... Think that okay with... The voice cuts in and out, giving an almost robotic effect before the screen eventually fades to black. With a heavy sigh, I end the call and shoot Moth a text to let them know they that they got disconnected yet again. But as I absent-mindedly look out the window, I noticed a blurry outline of Ren's figure sitting on a bench outside, busying himself with what looked like his phone. Next! The cashier's voice pulls me away from my thoughts, and I quickly pay for my purchases, all while sparing not-so-secretive glances at Ren from beyond the shop window to make sure that he's still there. It was strange, but I couldn't help but hope I get a chance to catch up with him on my way out. I know it'd been barely more than a day since I last saw him, but I still wanted to thank him for the date he took me on yesterday. Okay. Thank you for the follow, Small Bento Sakura. Welcome to the Spirit Realm. I am Althemia, a Hawaiian spirit VTuber. Howdy hey. Oh, my stars. You say howdy hey. The cashier pulls my attention away by handing me a bag and receipt, and I give them my thanks before making a beeline towards the exit. Hello, Small Bento. How are you today? Hope your day's going good. But just as the door swings open, I noticed that Ren had already left. He was no longer on the bench where I last saw him, and I couldn't spot him on either end of the street either. It was like he was never there in the first place, and I almost find myself wondering if I had imagined the whole thing. I'm good. I got a little bit of a cold, but it's fine. I was starting to see him everywhere. And it was beginning to come across as creepy. But Corland Bay isn't that big of a coastal town in retrospect, so I'm sure we were bound to run into each other again sooner or later. I mean, I literally met Ren at my own workplace because we shared a few common interests in books. He just so happens to be about native flora. That kind of stuff wasn't something either of us could control, and I was most likely looking too deep into it. Still, it felt strange all the same. Oh well, there was no use dwelling over it. I still had Ren's number saved in my contacts anyway, so I could always shoot him a text or even a call if I really started to miss him. Bless me. It was beginning to get dark once I arrived back at my apartment complex, so I quickly ushered my way up the staircase and onto my floor. But as I'm making the long trek up the stairs, I bump into someone lingering around the corner and almost lose my footing. She has a kitty. You! Me. Yes, have you been getting my complaints? Complaints? You must be the landlord. About the rats. You have rats? She really didn't know? This woman was supposed to be my landlord, yet she had no idea about the rat infestation or the broken elevator? Unbelievable. How could she be in charge of an entire apartment complex and not hear about a single complaint? I mean, sure, the lobby and hallways are always kept neat and tidy because of her, but everything else? They were bordering on being run down and falling apart at the seams. I'm sorry, I get so many letters piling up that I just stopped reading them altogether at this point. Oh my stars! Excuse me? Was she serious? It's okay, don't worry about it. If the rats are hungry, you can feed them some of my letters.
What? What the fuck?
Okay. You've got to be joking. They've already torn a hole right through my mattress. I'm worried about what will be next. Your shoes, probably. What? I mean, I'm not a rat, so I wouldn't really know. What is happening right now? You're asking me about what rats eat? No, I'm complaining to you. Complaining about what rats eat? That's it. I'm moving out as soon as the opportunity arises. Shouldering past my annoying landlord, I marched my way towards my apartment and gruffly unlocked the door with a huff. Was I just talking to a wall? Like what? Lady? Not bothering to turn on the light, I tossed my keys into the tray, shrug off my jacket, and unceremoniously dropped myself onto the couch. Today had been a whirlwind of events and emotions, and the worst part was that it still hadn't ended yet. I still had an hour or so left before I considered any dinner plans, so I figured I might as well spend the evening winding down in the meantime. Oh, too quickly, an idea pops into my head, and I reach over to grab my phone. How will you respond? Invite someone over. Figuring it'd be best to catch up with someone instead of stewing in my apartment alone, I pull up my contacts list and idly scroll through it. Conan's number immediately captures my attention, being the newest addition to my contacts and sitting near the top of the list, before my curiosity begins to stray once more. Without so much as hesitating, I tap on that person's number and bring the phone closer to my ear. Who did you call? Why is Ren's glitching? I'll call Moth. Come on. Quickly glancing at the time to make sure it wasn't too early for them, I tap on Moth's name and bring the phone closer to my ear. The phone rings a few times before they pick up with a happy lilt in their tone. Well, look who came crawling back. Sorry about earlier. I'm not sure what the deal is with my Wi-Fi. Hold up, rewind. Why am I crawling? Why wouldn't you be? I'm the only person you know who has all the latest AOG gossip. Anyway, what's up, eh? Felt bored, wanted to hear your lovely voice again. Please, I can hear the sarcasm dripping through the phone right now. Seriously, what's up? How did they know me so well? Actually, I'm going on this double date tomorrow, except it's not really a date, for me at least. And how is it not a date? You'll be hanging out with someone you're interested in, right? No, it's my best friend. Heh, me? I didn't know we were going on a date together. I'm flattered, dude. Oh, my other best friend. I'm going to pretend like you didn't just pause for 6 whole seconds to come up with that lame excuse. Despite the harsh words, I could tell Moth was joking. Their eye roll was practically audible. So what's so bad about this not a date with your other best friend? Well, for starters, he's someone I've practically known since birth. And the other 2 people happen to be my coworker with the most purest soul I've ever seen, and the other friend who's probably the devil incarnate. Teo. I think I've seen an anime about that once. Moth, not helping. Haha, sorry. Look, you said it yourself. You're not going on an actual date, so there shouldn't be anything to worry about, right? You don't understand. It's not Leon I'm worried about. Was I really about to let Moth in about the more personal details regarding my friendships? Well, I guess there's a first for everything. Teo is honestly the worst person for Eleanor. He isn't exactly the type to settle down, and Elle's the biggest hopeless romantic I know. She always talks about having that white picket fence dream, whereas Teo can barely sit through a single conversation about his own feelings. I knew I was beginning to ramble at this point, but I couldn't seem to stop myself. And what's worse is that Teo is suddenly interested in relationships all of a sudden, and I don't get what his motives are. I'm sure people can change. Maybe he's entering his magical girl era. I mean, sure. It was a weak response, but I could tell Moth was being sincere about it. I mean, from what you told me in the past, your coworker sounds like a real nice gal. Maybe Teo feels the same way. It just doesn't seem like something he'd do, though. I let out a sigh and absent-mindedly run my hands over my pants in order to smooth out the wrinkles. Sorry, Em, you probably didn't expect me to call you up just to rant to you. Hey, it's all good. I don't mind. And you know I always do the same. Besides, it's my duty as your bestest friend, both online and real life. I couldn't help but chuckle at that. But saying real life implies you've met in person already. Funny you say that, eh? Because I'll be your art soon. Maybe could if you're... All of a sudden, the call cuts out for the 2nd time today. Damn, curse their horrible Wi-Fi. Well, there wasn't much I could do about faulty connection. Figuring I had nothing else to do for the night, I decided finally time to satisfy the cravings of my stomach. Without wasting any more time, I get up and tiredly trudge around my apartment as if my body were on autopilot. But just as I'm about to enter the kitchen, my phone rings once more. Glancing down, I notice Ren's contact details flash on the screen. Did he want to talk? Admittedly, I was a bit curious to see Ren again after missing him in the manga store earlier. A beat passes, and before I can stop myself, I answer his call. His soothing voice greets me, and I can practically feel the excitement and moe flower expel from the screen and hit me in the face. And before I know it, Ren is agreeing to come over as soon as he can, so I quickly turn the lights back on, clean up the pace a bit, and anticipate his arrival. Oh, I thought the day was about to end. I was about to say, oh no. Oh. There is more save slots. Barely 10 minutes pass before I hear a loud knocking at my door. Almost immediately, I leap to my feet and unlock it with a smile. Hey, Ren, hey, come on in. I watch as he awkwardly shuffles about in the hallway, almost uncertain if he should come inside or not. He moves to take off his shoes, and I watch in awe as he neatly stacks them next to the umbrella rack. Oh, are you the type to leave your shoes on at home? So sorry, Al. No, you're fine. God, he really was adorable. I also brought some takeout with me, if that's okay. I figured you hadn't had a chance to eat yet. Whoa, how'd you know? It's like you can read minds or something. Barely registering the look on his face, I gently coax Ren into my living room. He makes himself at home on my couch, and I bring a few utensils from my kitchen for the food he so kindly brought. Oh, by the way, were you at the manga store earlier today? I thought I saw you there. Yeah, I know you did. I mean, because I saw you as well. After I left. I noticed you through the window. Well, that seemed to confirm my thoughts about Ren sitting outside the store. Stabbing my fork into the food, I take a bite and let out a pleased hum from all the delicious flavors dancing on my tongue. Now I'm hungry. Really? You should have said hi. I thought about it, but you seemed really focused on something. And then you got a call, so... yeah, that was my friend Moth. Oh, that reminds me, Ren. At that, his full attention is immediately on me. Takeout, long forgotten as the taller male moves in his seat to face me. You like Attack on Giants too, don't you? I mean, your hair and outfit, it was inspired by Haruko, right? I know I must have been coming on a bit strong, but Ren and I have been getting to know each other a bit better over these past few days, and somehow I knew he wouldn't freak out as much if he knew about my more nerdy side. If you don't like me at my nerdiest, then you don't deserve me at my best. Just saying. Sparing a glance at Ren, he seems to be handling it well enough. If the interested yet curious look, yet curious look on his face is anything to go by. In fact, Ren seems almost on the edge of his seat with how intently he's staring at me. He must really be interested in Haruko as well to garner this sort of reaction. In some way, it was comforting to know we shared a few more similar interests. One of these days, I'll learn how to read. Haruko is actually one of my favorite characters at the moment. He has been for a while now, actually. Oh, but that's not the point. The point is, Moth loves Haruko too. I could introduce you guys. They're a die-hard fan of the anime, and I'm sure they... Moth is the one who's interested? Almost shyly, he turns his head away and meekly scratches at his jaw. I don't mind, but I wasn't expecting Ren to be so hesitant, and I suddenly felt bad for springing this all onto him without considering how he might feel as well. Hey, no need to force yourself. If you don't want to, that's okay. I just thought it'd be nice to let them have someone else to talk to, you know? Moth has trouble making friends. And most of the time, they're only talking to me. Yeah, that's too bad. He sends me a sad look coupled with a frown before returning to the plate before him. Although I was thinking about Moth, I really didn't want to force Ren into befriending someone if he didn't want to. Besides, maybe he has trouble forming friendships too. It was a little difficult trying to keep up with his sudden personality shifts, but at this point in our friendship, I was starting to get used to it. Deciding to lift the mood a little, I tried to change the subject to something more lighthearted. So, apparently this place has rats. Really, Althemia? That was the first thing you could think of? How is that any less awkward than what we were currently? Actually, I didn't want to say anything, but I think I saw one on my way up here. I want to move. It probably made itself a home in that busted elevator shaft. Seriously? Wait, do you think you could come with me and explain to my landlord? I swear Your landlord isn't doing anything about it? No! Wish they were. I collapse onto the sofa with a dramatic sigh. I honestly don't know what they're doing, if I'm being honest. I sent so many complaints, but haven't received a reply for any of them. But really? Have you considered just moving? Quite a few times, actually. But... how many extra saves do I have? I thought, oh, okay, I'm lost. I got lost at the saves. My neighbor is friendly. Well, everything was a little overwhelming in the beginning, but my neighbor was nothing but kind to me when I first moved in, and she always has the best afternoon snacks. I see. Then it's not so bad here, after all, right? I mean, as long as there's no creep trying to break in and steal all your laundry or something. You got a point there. I think I'd take the rats over a laundry-stealing intruder any day. But now that I think about it, who would want to break in just to steal dirty clothes? Well, I'm sure Red only meant it as a joke, it was oddly specific. I just figured that's what normal creep behavior would be. Uh-huh. You have a great sense of fashion, and I see your TV is still here, so... I guess it would be difficult to lug that down a staircase. They probably should have asked the rats for help. Again with the rats? I couldn't help but let out a laugh at his corny inside joke. Wait, since when did we have our own inside jokes? Now that I really thought about it, the banter I shared with friends seemed very easygoing as of late, despite how serious the topics were supposed to be. I had been worrying all day about the supposed stalker, yet here I was, casually brushing it off as a carefree joke. Still, is everything alright in your neighborhood? I've heard about the murders going on recently. Well, no one I know has gone missing, so I suppose that's good, right? I won't lie though, it is kind of scary knowing that there's a killer out there. Yeah, suppose so. But are you really okay with staying here alone? Doesn't that scare you? I'm sure I'll be fine. I've got my neighbor, Violet, and if it's really necessary, I'm sure I could stay with Leon for a while, and... say, you could always stay with me instead. That was bold. I rent an apartment not far from here. You're always welcome to stay, especially if it's an emergency. I'd sleep better knowing you're safe. And I always carry a spare key card with me anyways. If you like, you can hold on to it in case something... I appreciate the offer, Ren, but I can't accept that. It's fine. Besides, you said yourself that living here can get overwhelming. If this can help you in any way, I don't know. Keep it, just in case. I mean, you never know. What if that creep breaks into your apartment again? If that happens, you'd be safer at my place. Like I said, it's not far from here. The lobby is full of security, and they won't let anyone upstairs without proper clearance. Plus, I don't have rats. I won't lie, Ren's offer honestly was tempting. The idea of having somewhere to go in case things got bad was a comforting thought. Something just didn't sit right with me. I know I've been spending a lot of time with Ren recently, but I still wasn't that familiar with him. And sure, I might have developed a bit of a crush on the tall guy, but I wasn't going to be swayed by my feelings. Still, the offer really was tempting, and it wasn't like he was asking me to move in with him or anything. Now that I thought about it, Ren was the one giving me access to his home. It wasn't like I was the one in danger here. He was trusting me enough not to be some kind of crazed killer, much like the one on the news. I can't help but crack a smile at the somewhat morbid thought, and Ren seems to take it as a positive sign. But before I can dwell on it any further, I watch as he leans over to reach into his back pocket and pulls out something that resembled a plastic card. Ren wastes no time handing it to me, and I take a moment to look it over. His address and unit number are neatly printed at the top, and some kind of obscure barcode is on the bottom. However, the apartment name and logo in the top right corner are what really captures my attention. Sunshine Hills? He lives in the nicer parts of Corland Bay? There was only one Sunshine Hills that I was familiar with, and they were known for their high-rise apartments and fancy penthouses. I'm sure Ren never had to worry about rat infestations or deadbeat landlords. Though, the more I thought about it, the more willing I was to accept his offer. Maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea after all. Even though Ren lived in the more luxurious parts of town, would he really mind it if I crashed at such an expensive place? I know he's the one who's offering, but still. If this opportunity meant getting to know him better, maybe it'd be worth it. Stepping out of my thoughts, I look up from the glossy plastic and focus my attention back to Ren. Seriously though, it wouldn't hurt to keep it. And it's a spare key card anyways. I can always get more. I already have a stack of them at home. They're really handy too. I can use them to lock up my office and bedroom without a physical key. But I always end up misplacing them all and... So sorry, Althemia. Am I rambling again? I don't want you to worry or anything. And you never know what might happen. I've seen what's been on the news lately, and I just want you to be safe. He wants me to be safe? Where have I heard that before? Well, I suppose so. Great. Then he glances back at the plastic item in my hands with an expectant look, almost as if he were waiting for me to put it away. And when I carefully shove it into my pocket, Ren seems to visibly relax and lean back into his chair once more. Then that settles it. Come by whenever you want. You don't even need to call. Thanks. I think I'll still call him in advance, or even shoot a text. As lovely as Ren's welcoming hospitality was, I wouldn't want to disrupt or intrude on anything. As if picking up my sudden silence, he clears his throat, gestures towards the food on the table, and scoops up a giant forkful. Anyway, we should finish this before it gets cold. Hi, crazy patrollee. Hi, first time chatter. Hello, welcome to my stream. I'm Althemia, a Hawaiian spirit VTuber. Oh yeah? You're right. Deciding to ease the tension once more, I speak the first thing that comes to mind as I stab my fork into the container as well. Stab. Oh my stars. Thank you for the gifted sub to Banana Popsicle. Oh, Nina! I speak the first thing that comes to mind as I stab my fork into the container as well. How will you respond? I know who you are, Lady Blanche. Huh? Nani kore? You look like a hamster. Enjoying the food. Can you pass the sauce? You look like a hamster. I want to go with the hamster. You look like a hamster. Your dog used to bark at me all the time and no one else. I'm sorry. Kalea barks at a lot of people, and your username isn't ringing any bells, so my brain is hella blanking. I'm totally sorry. We met up a lot for community days. Oh my stars, that was so long ago. Oh my stars. Wait, Karu? No. Karu? No. Karu? Karu's the only person that's coming to my head. That and someone else, but your username isn't that username. Oh, it was true. With how Ren was stuffing food into his mouth, he almost looked similar to a fluffy pink hamster. I'm Doppel. Oh, you are Doppel! The different username threw me off guard. I was like... I kept thinking of Gengar. I was like, uh-huh. Almost immediately after hearing my words, his cheeks flush a deep red as he chokes down his food. Well, don't actually choke on your food there, Ren. Hamster? Usually I get fox or puppy. I'm not mad, though. Albeit, you are like a lost puppy. Now that I think about it, you kind of look like a chipmunk. I look like a chipmunk. With an eye roll, I playfully shove Ren's arms and pretend like I didn't agree with his words. Yeah, that's me. Oh my stars. Yeah, I didn't know you had more than one account. I was so confused. I was like, huh? Did the day end? The casual banter continues throughout dinner, and soon enough, all the containers were empty and our stomachs were full. I dimmed the lights and switched the TV on at some point to fill the silence between our conversations. And soon enough, Ren and I found ourselves taking an interest in a movie that was currently playing. A horror movie? It was some unknown, sappy rom-com that came out almost a decade ago, yet Ren didn't seem to mind all that much. I wasn't following the plot too keenly, but from what I could gather, the male lead just confessed his love for the main character in the back of her truck. To top it all off, it started raining as some slow melodic love song came on the radio. The two characters were all too happy to share a sweet kiss with each other in that romantic moment. But the tenderness soon gets cut short once the scene starts to travel down a more heated path. Oh. The kisses become more passionate, and before I know it, I'm watching the main character lean across the center console to sit in her lover's lap instead. Clearly, I wasn't expecting this to happen in what I falsely believed was a harmless rom-com, so I dared to glance in Ren's direction to gauge his reaction. Yet, aside from the faint dusting of pink on his cheeks, the rest of him seemed all too relaxed. That does not look like a relaxed face, me. What do you mean, relaxed? There's an arm casually thrown over the back of the couch while the rest of his body is slouched into the plushness of the seat. His lanky limbs are stretched out in front of him, while his thighs are spread out slightly, and the empty space between his legs was beginning to look inviting for some reason. Was it because of the movie? I want to sit in his lap and maybe steal his cardigan. Before I can stop myself, I find my mind wandering. I want. No, I don't even get the option I want to do. Not nice. Okay, fine. Keep watching the movie. What was I thinking? This movie is clearly messing with my head. Slowly, I slap my cheeks and focus my attention back to the TV screen. But every so often, my gaze flickers back to Ren to see if he was feeling just as awkward as I was throughout the scene, and it seems I was right. It's almost painful watching him awkwardly clear his throat a few times until his interest ultimately shifts towards my wall instead. I also feel the urge to look away once the couple starts to get even more handsy with each other, and when it starts to become too much to bear, I impulsively change the channel. A monotone voice droning out on about the weather fills the silence, and I feel the couch move as Ren shifts in his seat. That was, yeah. They were really going at it, huh? Just a bit. Just a bit, Ren. Jeez, I can't believe it's somehow even more awkward now. But just as I'm about to do something about it, Ren awkwardly clears his throat and moves to stand up. It's getting a bit late now, isn't it? I should probably start heading home soon. Oh, are you sure? You could stay a bit longer. No, I really should go. Now that I think about it, you need to wake up early, don't you? Yeah, actually, but how did you know that? Oh, you seem like the early bird type. He doesn't seem to elaborate on that and instead starts to pack up his belongings and head towards the hallway. Deciding that was that, I walked Ren towards the front door with a soft smile on my face. Today has been a lot of fun thanks to him, and I was able to keep my mind off of the events that would ultimately transpire tomorrow. I was still unsure about Teo's intentions, but being with Ren helped me to understand that maybe it was wrong of me to judge others so quickly. At first, I thought Ren was just some shy guy with a stuttering problem, but over the course of a few days, I've learned that there's more to him than just that. He had his moments of confidence, and it was endearing watching him stand up for the things that he wanted. Perhaps I was being a bit too harsh on Teo. Even he deserved a chance to redeem himself. I suppose I'll give him a chance tomorrow. Althemia? Sorry. Crap. I really need to stop spacing out like that. I asked if you wanted me to lock the door for you. It suddenly hit me like a ton of bricks. I was still standing in the hallway while Ren was already waiting for me at the door, so I quickly rushed over to him with a flushed expression. Sorry, I was just busy thinking. I can lock it. Thanks, though. You do that a lot. It's cute. I do that a lot in real life, too. I almost roll my eyes at his words as I lean against the front door and watch Ren awkwardly shuffle on my doormat. He's so cute, ain't he, though? Thanks for today, and sorry for taking up so much of your time. Not at all. Thanks for coming over. Get home safe, okay? Ren's eyes seemed to light up the moment I voiced my concern over him. Yeah, okay. I will. You too. Or, I mean, you're already at home, so go to bed safe, or sleep safe. Sleep well? He's so cute. He just has puppy energy. What am I? I can't help but chuckle at his panicked state, and Ren seems to settle once he hears my laughter. Good night, Ren. Good night, Althemia. I'll see you tomorrow. The sounds of the door shutting drowns out the ending of his sentence. Huh? Wait a second. He'll see me tomorrow. Once I had nothing else left to do for the night, I get changed into some comfy pajamas and brush my teeth before settling into bed. The newest chapter for Always With You is going to drop in a few hours, and I figured I might as well stay up and read it before going to sleep. But my eyes were starting to get droopy, and all my mind could think about was the double date I had planned with Leon, Teo, and Eleanor tomorrow. Man, I sure hope everything will be fine. But I know worrying about it wasn't going to do me any favors, so I let my pent-up stress out on my pillow by smacking it to make it less lumpy. Though the moment I unceremoniously flopped back down, I noticed a cold draft, and the fact that my bedroom window was left wide open. Strange. I don't remember opening it earlier. With a groan, I get up from my bed to go and close it. But once I lock it shut, something moves from within the shadows and startles me. Squinting, I can barely make out the black mass moving through the gaps in the fire escape balcony. What was that? A person? It certainly wouldn't be strange for someone to take a cigarette break at this hour, but I couldn't smell any telltale signs of smoke. Maybe it was my landlord's cat out for a leisurely midnight stroll. That idea seemed more realistic in my mind. Yet, despite my futile attempts at calming myself down, I still somehow find the willpower to go back to bed rather than opening the window once more and taking another curious peek outside. I didn't have a death wish, nor did I have the stupidity of those cliché horror films characters. But before I turn away, I double check to make sure that the window is locked shut and the blinds are fully closed. I wasn't about to risk it. Happy with the precautions put in place, I make a hasty dive towards the warmth and safety of my bed. Snuggled deep within my blankets, I find it harder and harder to think about someone breaking in, and even more so with keeping my eyes open. Before I knew it, pink-colored sheep slowly filled my mind as I drifted away. Ah! That was the ending of day 3. Okay, hang on. No, we haven't tried getting all the different endings yet. That's why we're going back. No. Wait, hang on. Wrong button. Okay. Oh, my stars. I don't know how to get the bad ending on this one. I don't know how to get... No, not this one. I doubt this one would change anything. Let's go to this one. No, thanks. And Teo scoffs at my answer while Eleanor visibly deflates. Sorry, guys, but I just don't feel up for it. No, I get it. Please don't feel pressured to do something you don't want to, Althemia. I can tell you've been on edge lately. I wouldn't want to add any more unnecessary stress. Yeah, cool, whatever. Fuck you, Teo. I'm sure Jay would be happy to join us instead. Without so much glancing in my direction, he pulls out his phone and immediately starts to text someone. Eleanor awkwardly shuffles on her feet at the abrupt end of the conversation, but otherwise she doesn't seem to pick up on Teo's curt behavior. Great. It couldn't get more awkward than this. Ah, there we go. Just to skip that stuff. Ah, there's more people. Everyone's out back. Planning their outing tomorrow, no doubt. And despite the cold treatment Teo gave me earlier for rejecting his offer, it was nice to see Eleanor out and making new friends. Deciding not to ruin their fun, I quietly sneak out the back door and take the opposite route home. But something at the back of my mind must have seriously been bothering me because I didn't even feel like visiting the manga store on my way back. Jeez, whatever it was, I hope it'll pass soon. Once home, I wasted no time in shrugging out my work clothes, preparing something to eat, and getting ready for bed. The newest chapter for Always With You would be out soon, and I was interested to see what would happen between the main character and her love interest next. Of course, no one could ever replace my beloved Haruko, but he was slowly starting to climb his way up my list. Unlike some of the other mainstream love interests, he treated the MC with so much respect and adoration, and seeing their strong bond somehow filled an unknown empty gap in my heart. Perhaps it was no more than wishful thinking, but I've always longed to have a deep connection like that with someone. Yet, in all my years of living, I've never actually found anything remotely close to it, let alone in the city or in Corland Bay. I couldn't help but let out a heavy sigh at that, before realizing just how silly I was acting and replacing it with a scoff instead. Well, whatever. At least I still have my fictional crushes. Mood! With that in mind, I sluggishly crawl into bed and brainstorm ways to spend my day off tomorrow to help me fall asleep. But just as I decided on what to make for breakfast, my mind barely registers the sound of my window sliding open. Ha! Wait! That's how you get the bad ending? What? He didn't agree to go on the date, Angel? Why? Is it because of Teo? Yeah, it's because of Teo. Because of me? You weren't involved. Were you thinking about me? You weren't even in the picture. Did you want to see me again? Is that it, Althemia? I missed you too. I don't want to spend time with Teo. I'm sorry, I didn't get to talk to you as much today. But I saw you. I couldn't take my eyes off of you. You're so fun to watch, Angel. It's so cute when you think you're by yourself. So I nonchalantly look around my room. I could see you shaking behind the reception counter earlier. Did you like my present? Now you can carry a part of me with you. It is blood in that pen. Do you want to be with me too? Ugh. You can say that again, Sakura. Just, you know. Is that why you were trying to meet me here? I didn't know that was how to do it. I didn't see any bad choice. I didn't mean to get descending. I just didn't know what to do. Keep it up and I won't let you leave next time. Excuse me? What do you mean you won't let me leave next time? Do you want that? Do you want me? Do you want to be with me here forever? Oh no. forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever? Kind sir. Kind sir. I'm gonna catch these hands. Throw the hands. These hands are rated E for everyone. Come at me, bro. Althemia. Althemia. I don't like that. No. Oh, baby. Let's team up. Yeah, all right. You sneak attack him, Sakura, and I'll distract him. Let's go. A red flag? What do you mean red flag? This is the whole red circus. This isn't just a red flag. It's a circus. Oh, close your eyes. Ha, I'm just kidding. He didn't jump scare us. He didn't do it. I only wanted to tease you a little. And get your heart racing the same way you make mine. Please don't be scared of me. You know I'd never hurt you. I don't know, my guy. But the thought of always having you by my side is so overwhelming. I ache to have you near. Did you know that? And now that I finally have you here again, maybe I could... No, I can't. Not yet. This time, I want you to agree to go on a date with that annoying shit stain. Do I have to? I'll sneeze on him. He better back away. Do I have to go on a date with Tail? Do I really have to? I don't want to. Can't we do anything else but go on a date? As much as I want to be with you here forever, there's still so much planned out for the both of us. I can't see it, but I can feel it. I can tell something big is going to happen soon. I can't wait to see what it is. I can't wait to experience it with you too, Althemia. Alright, I'm going to send you back now. No jump scares this time. I promise, Angel. So be good and do as I say, okay? I love you, Angel. I love you so much. Until next time. Huh. Okay. I didn't think that was honestly going to get the bad ending. I straight up didn't think. Now, when this one, Ren's name was glitching, so I'm quite curious what happens if we call Ren. But odd, I don't remember scrolling all the way down to view his contact details. Nevertheless, I find myself tapping on Ren's name and bringing the phone closer to my ear. He picks up almost immediately, and I can practically feel the excitement and Moe flat. Yep, okay, that's all the same. Wait, does that say we zoom in, boy? That's cute. That was cute. At the corner, it says we zoom in, boys. What happens if I call Conan? Because he gave us his number for an emergency contact. Conan? Admittedly, calling up my boss wouldn't be the weirdest thing for me to do. The phone rings and rings, though no one seems to pick up. Perhaps he was busy, or maybe he was still at the library. But before I can berate myself for doing something so ridiculous as calling my employer, Conan finally answers. Yes? Conan, this is Althemia. Ah, Althemia, good evening. Is everything alright? It's a bit late for these sort of calls. His concern is evident in his tone, and I almost feel bad for making him worry. Yeah, sorry. I know it's late, but I just wanted to call you so you'd have my number. Wow, nice save, Althemia. Now that I think about it, maybe texting you would have been a better idea. It's quite alright, as long as you're fine. Thank you for your number. And thank you for giving me yours. Oof, this conversation couldn't get any more awkward, could it? Of course. Your safety means a lot to me. In the event that something should happen, don't hesitate to call me. Alright. An awkward pause ensures, and I'm so close to pretending that the connection dropped just so I could end the call. But it seems fate is on my side tonight because suddenly something on the other end of the line captures Conan's attention and pulls him away momentarily. I believe Alice needs my assistance. I'll have to go shortly. Oh, that's fine. No worries. Thanks again for talking with me. And you as well, sweetheart. Sweetheart. We'll have to continue this conversation another time, perhaps when we're both free. Sweetheart? Yeah, sure, definitely. I was beginning to sound a lot like Ren. Good night, Althemia. Enjoy the rest of your evening. All of a sudden, the line cuts off. Well, there wasn't much such in dwelling over that painful encounter. Figuring I had nothing left to do for the night, I decided it's finally time to satisfy. Okay. We zooming, boys! And we'll just stick with my neighbor's nice. You got some crumbs on your face. Actually, like that. I feel like we got a little bit more information from Conan there. So I'm going to save this one for whenever day 4 comes out. Before I can stop myself, I reach out towards Ren's face and gently wipe away the crumbs from his cheek. His fingers brush against his bottom lip, and I can't help the slight tinge of pink that blooms on my cheeks. Alrighty. Sadly, day 4 isn't out yet, but I am following their Twitter, so as soon as day 4 comes out, I will let you guys know. Because we will be playing day 4. Yeah. Ren seems to be sporting a similar look of his own before he awkwardly clears his throat and goes back to eating. Thank you. And this is all the stuff from that. We'll change the channel this time. What was I thinking? This movie is clearly messing with my head. Suddenly I slap my cheeks and focus my attention back to the TV screen. Not wanting to let this awkward encounter draw any longer, I reach for the remote and flick to the local news station instead. A monotone voice droning on about the weather fills the silence, and I feel the couch move as Ren shifts in his seat. That was, yeah, it's gonna be the same. Yeah, we got caught up. I need to save. I need to save this one. Because I like that one. Actually, no, we won't write over that save. We'll make a new save. Okay, we got the bad ending, and I wasn't even meaning to get the bad ending. That's quite funny.